हेलो दोस्तों, are we live now? We should be live. We should be live. We should be live. 1 second, दोस्तों. 1 second. Let me just tweet about this, and we are good to go. We should be good to go. अरे वाह, करकेस का भी अभी आ गया. चलो भाई, मुबारक हो सारे लिवरपूल फैंस को, मुबारक हो. कैसे हो दोस्तों? हाउ आर यू डूइंग? मैं जस्ट ऐड यूट्यूब चैट अगेन. हर बार की तरह ये मेरे को यूट्यूब चैट बार बार डालनी पड़ती है ताकि स्क्रीन पे दिखे. 1 second, हाँ. Chat box and source, YouTube chat. Over here, make it small. Cool. Hello दोस्तों. I'm good, धीरज. I'm good. Anshul, how are you? आज भाई का बर्थडे है सस किशोर. कंग्रेचुलेशन जिसका भी बर्थडे है भाई. आज किसका बर्थडे है दोस्तों? आज किसका बर्थडे है? हेलो दक्ष भाई. आज चेल्सी का मैच 6:30 बजे है. उठना पड़ेगा. उठो भाई, उठो. चेल्सी का प्यार दिखाओ यार. ट्रम्प इज दैट इंडियन अंकल? ओके. व्हाई वी टॉकिंग अबाउट ट्रम्प? कैसे हो? अयान सेज, व्हाट डू यू मीन CWC इज रियली गुड और नॉट? मेसी विल बी प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट हिज फॉर्मर टीम इन फुल मर्सिडीज बेंज स्टेडियम. ओके. मोहम्मद मुद्दासिर खान, कैसे हैं आप? आप कैसे हैं? आप बताइए. गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन दोस्तों. क्या आपको चार्ट अच्छे से दिख रही है? हाँ, दिख रही है. let me just triple check if everything is fine, everything is visible. Let me just see. Oh yeah, it's fine. Things are good. मेसी एंड आलाबा का बर्थडे. हैप्पी बर्थडे मेसी एंड हैप्पी बर्थडे आलाबा. मेसी रोने ना लगे PSG से हारने के बाद. देखेंगे भाई कौन हारता है कौन जीतता है. किसने एक्सपेक्ट किया था भाई? एक पॉइंट पे तो इंटर मायामी अपना ग्रुप टॉप करने वाली थी. हैप्पी बर्थडे आलाबा. इंडीड इज कुडूस विल बी गुड फिट फॉर चेल्स. भाई व्हेन डज दैट बिन अ प्रॉब्लम फॉर चेल्सी? भाई फिट हो या ना हो, खरीद तो सकते हैं हम. बट नो, देयर आर बेटर फिट्स फॉर चेल्सी मेरे हिसाब से दोस्तों. हेलो दैम भाई, कैसे हो आप? माइका रिचर्ड्स का भी बर्थडे. हैप्पी बर्थडे माइका रिचर्ड्स भाई. मेसी कैरिड, लेट्स बी रियल. हाँ ऑफ कोर्स मेसी कैरिड, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि लाइक और प्रोटैगनिस्ट नहीं थे यार. उस्तारी इन द फर्स्ट गेम भाई, क्या व्हाट अ गाय भाई. उस्तारी भाई फर्स्ट गेम पे इतना बढ़िया करा था उन्होंने. ओम, हाउ आर यू? आई एम गुड मैन, आई एम गुड. इंटर मायामी प्लेड वेरी वेल. All right. I think first game was a bit of a disappointment, man. Alali के against जैसे उन्होंने खेला था. It was a big disappointment, to be honest, for me. Can Man City humble Arsenal in 25-26 season, भाई? भाई सभी humble हैं यार. Let's see क्या होता है. Whether Arsenal get humbled, whether City humble us, जो होगा सो देखा जाएगा दोस्तों. अभी तो बोलना कुछ भी मुश्किल ही है. So it's gonna be Gyökeres. कुछ नहीं पता किसी को. क्या हाल है ओम भाई? I'm good. Chat. See, you guys need to understand the value of build up. ठीक है. और आम भाषा में जिसको हम कहते हैं फोर प्ले. तुम लोग आते ही Gyökeres, आते ये. अरे हाय हेलो, कैसे हो? आपका दिन कैसा है दक्ष भाई? आपकी तबीयत कैसी है दक्ष भाई? इतने दिन से कहाँ थे दक्ष भाई? हैं? आते ही आर्सेनल कब खरीदेगी? मार्टिनेली कहाँ जाएगा? क्या कुडूस आ सकता है? क्या मेसी जीत सकता है क्या? ओ माय गॉड मैन, रिलैक्स. बिल्ड इट अप मैन. लाइफ का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्किल होता है बिल्ड अप. फोर प्ले कहाँ से चल गया जस्ट. क्या हाल है? ऑल गुड यस ने, हाउ आर यू? गेम इंसेस कहाँ थे भाई? यार बिजी था थोड़ा सा पढ़ाई में काम में, बट थोड़ा सा टाइम मिल गया. सो लेट्स डू इट मैन. लेट्स डू इट. प्लस एक ऑनेस्टली बात बताऊं दोस्तों, देयर वाज नॉट मच टू टॉक अबाउट इन टर्म्स ऑफ फुटबॉल. इट्स द सेम न्यूज़ विच वाज हैपनिंग, यू नो, लाइक सेम प्लेयर्स लिंक हो रहे हैं. वही सैलरी पे प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं. जो लोग कन्फर्म्ड थे वो और ज़्यादा कन्फर्म हो गए. जूबी मेंडी आई थिंक हमने 5वीं बार साइन कर लिया एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. अरे क्या हाल चाल है? आपके ग्लासेस में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ है क्या? नहीं, ग्लासेस में तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ है. क्या प्रॉब्लम हुआ है ग्लासेस में? It's always how is Gyökeres but never how is Daksh. Exactly. नसीर भाई को बिल्कुल सही पकड़ना है. बिल्कुल सही पकड़ा उन्होंने. Rodrigo says ignoring. नहीं. Watching CWC, I'll be honest man, not much dude. I'll tell you the games I watched. I watched Madrid का game. Madrid के games मैं देख रहा हूँ because I'm very curious about how they'll actually turn up. So I'm watching Madrid के games. I watched Chelsea का last game. Flamengo के साथ वो बहुत interesting game था. Who else did I watch? I watched Juve का game जो था. किसको हराया था? यूवे ने अलाइन को हराया था. एंड फर्स्ट इंटर मायामी गेम आई वॉच. उसके अलावा मैंने कुछ ज़्यादा देखा ही नहीं यार दोस्तों. मेसी भाई का बर्थडे है भाई. कंग्रेचुलेशंस टू मेसी भाई. हैप्पी मेसी जयंती टू एवरीवन. कार्तिक भाई इज़ ऑल्सो हियर. कैसे हो कार्तिक भाई? कार्तिक भाई को लगने लग गए मैं उनको इग्नोर करता हूँ. बट कोई बात नहीं. Yappers United says, to be honest, I'm not even following the score lines right now. Maybe in knockouts I will. I know, dude. मतलब मेरे को भी कुछ ज़्यादा फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा है कि स्कोर लाइन अभी क्या है, स्कोर लाइन अभी ये है, स्कोर लाइन अभी वो है. I just enjoy it. But you know what? It's very nice to see a couple of European teams out, South American teams in, all these things, bhai. Daksh bhai, we signed Rooney. Yes. Rooney, brother, you guys have signed. And I don't know like if it's the right move for Rooney, but जो है सो है यार. PSG is dead arts facing Inter Miami. हाँ मेसी भाई, क्रेजी सीन हो जाएगा. बट PSG look like the most informed team in the club world cup भाई. हर एक को तहस नहस कर रही है. Atletico I remember is out. Porto is out. So yeah, it's kind of crazy man. As things stands, फिर से City Madrid है. Who are Chelsea lined up to play? Bayern Munich if I'm not wrong, right? Bayern Munich से उनका खेलने का मौका हो रहा है. I get it. Could be City versus RM again, Daksh bhai. I know it can be. Daksh bhai, अभी तो लाइफ में बस Netflix and chill चल रहा है. अच्छी बात है भाई आपके लिए. अच्छी बात है यार. Barcelona have beaten around 10 clubs in the race for Rooney Bargi. हाँ, so yeah, Rooney Bargi is a very good player यार. But I just, you know what? See, the thing with Rooney is he's a very like prodigal, मतलब अच्छा सा prospect है, ठीक है. पर मुझे एक बात बताओ, ऑनेस्टली बात बताओ, लाइक अच्छी बात है बार्सा ने साइन कर लिया एंड एवरीथिंग, बट अगर आप रूनी हो, व्हाई वुड यू गो टू अ टीम जहाँ पे नंबर वन राइट विंग ऑप्शन इज़ लमीन यमाल, उसके बाद बैकअप ऑप्शन इज़ रफीनिया, बोथ हैविंग अ बैलेंड और कैलिबर ईयर, ठीक है, और आप हो रूनी बर्ज जो ACL के बाद आ रहे हो, आपको कहाँ मिनट्स मिलेंगे ज़्यादा, है ना. सो ही हैड एन ACL, सो आई थिंक उसको वो बी टीम में खिलाएंगे. आई थिंक ही विल बी लाइक अ बी टीम बॉय, एंड 2.5 मिलियन में मिल गए, सो इट्स अ फंटास्टिक डील फॉर बार्सिलोना यार, 100% फंटास्टिक डील फॉर बार्सिलोना. हाँ, फैन वैन वगैरह ठीक है यार, बट बंदे की डेवलपमेंट भी तो सोचो ना, उसको कितने ही मिनट मिलेंगे. आप मुझे बात बताओ, एज अ बार्सा फैन, अगर लमीन यमाल फिट है एंड रेडी है, आप चाहोगे कि लमीन यमाल खेले या रूनी बराजी खेले? नहीं यार संकेत, कहाँ ए टीम में उसको जगह मिलेगी? नहीं मिलेगी उसको ए टीम में जगह. भाई आंसू फाटी को ए टीम में जगह नहीं मिल रही थी, रूनी बराजी को कहाँ मिलेगी? हाउ मच इज रिलायबल गनर ब्लॉग? अच्छा रिलायबल है बंदा, है ना. ऑफ कोर्स एमल. टॉक अबाउट ट्रांसफर्स. यार ट्रांसफर्स का तो यार सभी करते हैं, तो मैंने सोचा था थोड़ा सा नॉर्मल स्टार्ट करते हैं, बट करेंगे हम फिर, ठीक है भाई. रूनी बार्सा खेलेगा ऑफ कोर्स सस आयान. ओके. अरे वाह हर्ष, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर डोनेटिंग. एज सिटी फैन डोंट वांट राइट रियल मैड्रिड नाउ, वी आर स्टिल फिगरिंग इट आउट. भाई आई थिंक पेप इज टेकिंग लाइक द क्लब वर्ल्ड कप एज अ नाइस प्री सीजन टूर्नामेंट. थोड़ा कंपेटिटिव भी है, बट यू कैन सी पेप ऑलरेडी ट्राइंग अ लॉट ऑफ दीज थिंग्स भाई. The way you sing Rooney Banerjee, it's not Banerjee, it's Rooney Banerjee. Imagine Miami wins and Messi makes wildcard entry for Ballon d'Or. if Messi wins the Ballon d'Or, dosto, I'm telling you man. मुक्तेश की वीडियो से याद आ गई मुझे. Rooney and onion bhaji, trust the process by 100%. हाँ, he's Iraqi by heritage, dude. He's Iraqi by heritage. I read about him. See, he was actually for Copenhagen one of the most actually very talented people before he actually got क्या कहते हैं in ACL. I think इस साल ही कॉन्फ्रेंस लीग में ही वाज सपोज टू प्ले चेल्सी बट ही कुडंट. सो या, क्या हाल चाल हो दोस्तों, क्या हाल चाल हो. Alright, nice few minutes to start. 10 minutes done दोस्तों. How have you been? Alright, let's start with the stream का theme. Chat, अभी तक जितना आप लोगों ने क्लब वर्ल्ड कप देखे. So I came on stream after the first match of the Club World Cup जहाँ पे आई थिंक बायन ने ऑकलैंड को पेल दिया था एंड इंटर मायामी अलाली गेम वाज एंड आई सेड कि लाइक आई एम नॉट रियली अ फैन ऑफ द क्लब वर्ल्ड कप. I'm still very like I'm fine with it. Like it's a nice thing to kill time, but I'm not like actively pushing things aside just to watch the Club World Cup. ये मेरा है, and you can say कि that's because Daksh भाई Arsenal नहीं खेल रही Club World Cup. And yeah, maybe you've got a point there. So now अभी I think Club World Cup के काफी सारे matches हो गया. Out of 10 chat, how much would you rate the Club World Cup? How much would you rate the Club World Cup now? अब आपने इतने बाकी टीम्स को देख लिया. यू वॉच्ड योर टीम्स प्ले, यू वॉच्ड अदर टीम्स प्ले, you've hate watched, you've seen the atmospheres. Some games have very little atmosphere, some games have a lot of atmosphere. Sometimes your favorite player is doing something, other times you're just coming across teams and you're like भाई सैलमन रॉन्डॉन क्या पाचुका के लिए कैसे खेल रहा है भाई. And so you get a bit confused कि is that bloody Salomon Rondon at Pachuca? There's Monterrey who's doing really well with Sergio Ramos. I don't even know how. ठीक है. There's Plumbers playing against Bayern Munich. Seattle Sounders against PSG. कुछ भी चले जा रहा है. Alright, so a lot of people say 8, 5, 6, 6, 4, 5, 8, 6, 6, 5, 4, 10. Oh, this Sukhman bhai is a huge fan of the Club World Cup. Alright. Himanshu says don't give an F about it. Alright. 7 because of Messi says Gunnar Behbov. Okay, alright. Knockout will be interesting. 6-0-6, 7th hollow for a reason. मैं लंदन में नहीं दोस्त, मैं डबलिन आयरलैंड में हूँ. और आपको ऐसे काफ़ी सारे सवालों का जवाब मिल जाता अगर आप मुझे इंस्टाग्राम पे फॉलो करते ऑन फुटबॉल डब्ल्यू दक्ष. वहाँ पे कल मैंने एक AMA किया था बिकॉज वी हिट 5K फॉलोअर्स ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. तालिया. एंड नाउ वी गोना हिट होपफुली हिट 10K सून. South American teams showing the औकात 100% भाई. All the story makes CWC interesting. चेल्सी खेल रही है पर हर मैच के बाद हर फैन बेस मेल्टडाउन में चले जाता है. कंपटीशन इज इन अ बिट ऑफ अ लिम्बो. इफ द स्टेक्स आर हायर तो मेल्टडाउन समझ भी आता. गुड पॉइंट आम भाई, 100% गुड पॉइंट. सो if your team is playing in the Club World Cup, do you see it as a serious tournament? Or do you see it as just a friendly? Like, are you treating this like a community shield? कि अगर आप community shield final हार जाते हो, it's just a glorified friendly. अगर आप community shield final जीत जाते हो तो बहुत अच्छी बात है यार. अगर आप neutral हो और आपकी जो टीम जिसको आप hate watch करते हो वो जीत गई तो भाई बेकार, मतलब friendly game ही है. Where are you if your team is playing in the Club World Cup? Do you see it as an extension of pre-season or do you see it as an extension of serious competition? Sukhman bhai sees it as a serious tournament. Brazil is building for 29. A serious tournament. Who is more favorite? We will talk about it. Poznan says very serious. The World Cup is World Cup says Vishal. Flamengo admin cooking made my day. Oh, that was so nice bhai. Oh, I didn't want to make like an assumption on Om bhai क्योंकि कुछ लोग ऐसे लिख देते हैं रैंडम नेम, तो मैं आपको ओम ऐसे नहीं बुलाना चाहता था. बट कोई बात नहीं. थैंक यू सो मच ओम भाई. प्री सीजन एज अ मैड्रिड फैन says Divyanshu. Yeah, it's a serious tournament for money that will help in squad building in the transfer market. All right. No, see, that's what I'm saying. If you just see this as a money-making tournament, then you obviously don't take it seriously. Like, अगर आपकी टीम हांगकांग ऑल स्टार्स के साथ खेल रही है, MLS ऑल स्टार्स के साथ खेल रही है, it ain't a serious game. It's just a money-making exercise from the American fans or, I don't know, the Asian fans and stuff like that. Serious for money and fame. Yes, it's a serious tournament for money. That's what I'm saying. I think that's a ऑक्सीमोरॉन. ठीक है, एक ऑक्सीमोरॉन हो जाता है जहाँ पे कहते हैं कि हाँ आई एम टेकिंग इट सीरियसली बट फॉर द मनी. कंपेटिटिव सीरियसनेस और यू सीरियस इट एज अ प्री सीजन. इट इज़ अ फ्रेंडली टूर्नामेंट फॉर मैड्रिड फैंस अंटिल दे विन इट सेज गनर behbov. दैट इज ऑल्सो ट्रू. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I also watched that Matisse video and that was also my sentiment which I said on stream last time as well. I think जब मैं बाबा एंड लॉल्स पे था, I was like, I don't know if clubs are approaching it in a uniform manner. I think Non-European clubs are taking it a bit seriously. I think अगर स्पेशली अमेरिकन क्लब्स को देखोगे या फिर आप अफ्रीकन क्लब्स को देखोगे, आई थिंक देर एक्चुअली टेकिंग इट क्वाइट सीरियसली यार. अभी जब मैंने मतलब स्कोर लाइन देखी थी इंटर वर्सेस उरावा रेड्स, दो उरावा रेड्स वर टेकिंग इट प्रॉब्ली लिटिल मोर सीरियसली. दे वर ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ विनिंग अंटिल फिर लॉटारो वगैरह आए एंड फिर उन्होंने उरावा रेड्स को हरा दिया एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. बट या आई थिंक it's a bit confusing for teams themselves whether to take this as a not so serious competition. आज जैसे मैंने देखा था एंजो मरेस्का was saying it's so tough to train in these weather conditions. बहुत hot होता है, हम energy बचा रहे हैं game के लिए. I don't know man. Look at the results. I am sometimes when I catch them bhai. But yeah, like I couldn't believe that PSG lost to Botafogo. I woke up that day, I was like, ठीक है PSG तो पीट वीट देगी, but Botafogo से हार गई PSG. So I don't know man. ग्रुप में निकल गए तो फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा अबाउट द कॉम्पिटिशन्स. नॉकआउट स्टेज पे तो किसी भी कॉम्पिटिशन से निकलने का दर्द होता है. आई एग्री. Posnan says, how will it impact the league performance? So from what I can tell ya dost, if your club is playing in the Club World Cup, especially in the Premier League, and you will have a pre-season tournament, there will be probably 3 weeks before your Club World Cup game and your first Premier League game. तो 3 हफ्ते का ही आपको prep time मिलेगा. Now, if you take the Club World Cup as a prep time as well, then आपको I think season end होने के 31 मई को season end हुआ था and most 15 दिन में I think the new season started all over again. So that's what I'm saying. It's a competition that's going to completely take a lot of energy out of, especially अगर ये US में हो रहा है, ऐसी वेदर कंडीशंस में हो रहा है जहाँ पे यूरोपियंस को आदत नहीं है. साउथ अमेरिकन्स, एशियंस, अफ्रीकन्स maybe they are better versed with these conditions, but Europeans are definitely struggling dost. I think if there were equal teams from all continents, then it would have been better. I feel there are too many European clubs. यार आई थिंक दैट्स प्रॉब्ली बिकॉज ऑफ द कोएफिशिएंट एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन. लाइक वर्ल्ड कप में भी अगर आप देखोगे ज़्यादातर टीम्स यूरोपियन ही होती हैं. नॉन यूरोपियंस आर टेकिंग इट seriously because of the money. That will help them a lot. Imagine some team are playing with plumbers and getting 5 million for participation. It's money making tournament. Yeah. Tarnish says Inter Miami qualified. It's a big deal. Yeah. Club Lyon, I think, was the one who was supposed to be in place of Inter Miami, I think. Or was it some other club? Maybe it was some other club. But Inter Miami, I think, was invited to this tournament once they were top of the league phase of the MLS. Who's better from one Rodrigo Saka to Wirtz Palmer? What? Who's better from Rodrigo versus Saka or Wirtz versus Palmer? Oh, okay. Lyon की जगह LAFC आई थी. It was LA Galaxy, USA club. Yeah. I think Lyon का was some issue with regarding to joint ownership or something or the other happened. I don't remember what the scene was. There was some scene Lyon का जो था. दक्ष भाई अभी पॉइंट्स कैसे देख सकते हो, बट एसेंशली मैंने कूल डाउन्स डाल दिए, सो आप लोग सिर्फ स्पैम नहीं कर सकते. सो इट विल टेक 60 seconds फॉर समबडी टू एक्चुअली चेक देयर पॉइंट्स. Bro, look at the results. Random EU teams losing against idhar-udhar ki teams shows you the seriousness of the tournaments for EU clubs. Non-EU clubs are taking it seriously because good opportunity. I'm guessing you, Himanshu, you want to say money. And I 100% agree. Chat, 290 people are already here. Stream like kar dijiye. Please, let's get up to 100 likes ASAP. Liking the stream is the easiest way to support the channel. It doesn't require any money. It doesn't require anything. You just have to get out of the full screen mode. Click on the like button. It doesn't do anything. You don't become cooler for not liking it. In fact, it will help the channel grow. When the channel grows, I become happy. I do stupid giveaways like that. And you should consider liking it, dosto. Kepa media announcement this week. I think Kepa will happen this week. I think उससे पहले it will be Miles Lewis Kelly. अगर तुम सीधा आर्सेनल की बात करोगे केशव भाई, तो नेक्स्ट एक हफ्ता 10 दिन is a big few days for Arsenal. I think next 10 days में we will see Miles Lewis Kelly की contract extension. We will see Kepa की announcement. We'll see Zubimendi की announcement. That's it. Puneet says it's a glorified pre-season. Alright, Puneet bhai. When can we expect you to be consistent? Probably when I'm done with my PhD, brother. Daksh bhai, why your club ain't going for players in the market? Later they will go for Madueke or what? Nahi Biraj, I think we're definitely going for players in the market. It's just that it's very complicated to get some deals over the line. I think अगर आप जैसे Wirtz का भी देखोगे, Wirtz का entire deal took an entire month to complete. And I'm not saying it's हम भी ऐसे ये सब हो सब, but we're trying to get the best price for Gyökeres and Sesko in this crazy inflated market. Zubimendi, I think people are just not excited by it simply because it's been happened. It's a wrapped up deal since a long time. But there are some interesting links happening. हमारा annual left back link आ गया है जोरेल हाटो के साथ. रोड्रिगो आपको भी पता है कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड ऑपरेशन होगा मड्रिड से निकालने के लिए. So we are going for targets. It's just the problem is that our targets are pretty difficult to get over the line. But it is what it is, man. I want to see a South American team in the final. It will be epic. Yeah. July se start hoga crazy transfer window because of the PSR thing. I also think so, brother. Bro, what should Arsenal do in transfer market? And for Victor, they have to sign some players. What should Arsenal do in the transfer market? And for Victor, they have to sign some player. All right. NNT saying, NNT, just don't listen to NNT, man. The guy has just gone off the rails, unfortunately, for all of us. What do you think of Lamine dating the baddies? I'm just saying, man, protect the kid, dude. It's like, you know, he's living out his teenage fantasies, dude. Like, that fatty woman, he'd been liking her posts since like he was 13, 14 years old, man. And now he's just living out his dreams and fantasies. That's basically the long and short of it. So protect the kid, man. Kind of want to watch him just for the football. A lot of people do just go off the rails with crazy stuff, man. You don't want something like that to happen with him. Bro, Ahmed, that's what he's been gooning to, right? Like, you see all the Kubarsis and Lamines and everything. They're under like Mia Khalifas and Fatties and Riley Reeds and stuff like that. Bhai, these guys are proper gooners, man. Not the Arsenal type of gooners, the other kind of gooners. So, I'm just saying, man. Protect the kids, dude. Protect the kids. They're actual gooners, bro. Actual gooners. So, yeah. That's what my thoughts on Lamine and Fatih are. There's actually, isn't there a player called Lamine Fatih or somebody? Yeah, they're literal gooners. Abhishek, exactly, brother. All right. You want to collab between Aisho Speed and Shantanu. Mohit bhai के सबसे अजीब से requests and thoughts होते हैं. But I appreciate you, Mohit bhai. You're a constant supporter of the channel. Did you see Gyökeres reports? रो रहा है, धरना कर रहा है, निर्जल उपवास, आर्सेनल नहीं मिला तो he will not forgive Sporting. I saw that report, you know, chat. I saw that report and I was like, भाई ये बंदा तो serious ही हो गया. I've never seen somebody actually cry. Wait, Gyökeres won't forgive. This is hilarious, huh? let me show this to you, all right? This is fucking insane stuff to actually witness. No, not this one, man. Wait. Google Chrome. Done. Okay, see this chat. What the hell, bro? I understand we're a nice proposition to work for, we're a decent club and all. Victor Gyökeres desperation builds. Pleading phone call to Varandas doesn't work. Player will never forgive club if Arsenal move dies. Situation is impacting striker heavily. उसने बोल दिया मैं नहीं आ रहा ट्रेनिंग के लिए. उसने बोल दिया कि भाई मैं आऊँगा ही नहीं वापस. I'm just listen. This is like, I ain't even joking. Okay, this is like when somebody, like, you've been called ugly all your life. ठीक है? Pretty much you've started believing that, you know, you're like fat, ugly, unattractive and stuff like that. ठीक है? And then someone who's like really hot comes in and starts telling all her friends कि like मैं मर जाऊंगी इसके बिना, and starts telling her parents कि आप मुझसे कैसे नहीं मिलने दे सकते, ये मेरा प्यार है and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, dude. मुझे तो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है ब्रो. इतना अटेंशन, इतना प्यार, इतना डेस्परेशन from somebody who's apparently a top striker in Europe, bhai, that's insane for me, by the way. I've never witnessed strikers going crazy to play for Arsenal, man. Oh my. Good evening, Daksh Pro. Hope everything's well with you. Shivam bhai, everything is perfect, man. Thank you so much, bhai. In a podcast, Naval Ravikant says celebrities are the most miserable people. I think it's true. We'll never know, man. We'll never know. Have I watched Archive 81? I haven't. Where do you think Lukeba will go? Yeah, Costello, Lukeba, I think Liverpool से उसके links आ रहे थे, फिर PSG से आ रहे थे, एक point पे Chelsea से आ रहे थे, but then his asking price is like absolutely nuts, man. Like बहुत ज़्यादा 70-ish million कह रहे थे लोग. इतनी ज़्यादा वैल्यू है ना सेंटर बैक मार्केट में अभी. 70 million एक सेंटर बैक पे स्पेंड करना बहुत अजीब लगता है. Like people can actually go and get Hingapi if they want. बहुत बहुत सारे हैं यार. डेम्बेले नहीं खेल रहा क्या CWC में? नहीं खेल रहा यार, जहाँ तो मुझे पता है ही इज़ नॉट प्लेइंग. ओके वेट. पीपल आर राइटिंग पॉइंट्स. इट्स सो नाइस टू सी कि ये सारी चीज़ें अब चैट को नहीं खा रही. रुको, अब मुझे एक चीज़ चेक करने दो. ग्लोबल कूल डाउन. परफेक्ट. ठीक है, सही है भाई. तुम लोग पॉइंट्स लिखते रहो. वो बंदा 30 सेकंड में एक बार आएगा. What is Arsenal long-term signing for me? It's Musiala. Bhai, Musiala ain't gonna move, bhai. He's Bayern's crown jewel, bhai. All right. Today we won't talk much about essay. If you have questions, we'll have an interactive stream basically. I mean, obviously, I will obviously appreciate all the super chats and stuff. And obviously just yapping will make me get more super chats. But if you have any questions, bhai, put them in the chat today. Today is the best day to get your chat read. Okay. Have you seen Chaos Club? Yeah, I watch every video. I didn't watch the helmet wala because that's as a concept doesn't really appeal to me. I like their auction one. I like their first video as well, that agree disagree wala. Those are nice ones. The helmet wala concept, it's not something I relate to. Maybe it's a generation thing. Who knows, bhai? What do you think about Nico transfer? अच्छा यार, मैन सिटी ने निको गोंजालेस ले लिया था जनवरी में. आई थिंक इट विल वर्क आउट बहुत अच्छे से. शशांक भाई, सो या गुड ट्रांसफर फॉर मैन सिटी भाई. हाँ ओल्ड मंग भाई, वी टॉक्ड अबाउट रूनी बर्जेस टू बार्सिलोना ऑलरेडी भाई. Who do you rate more, Gyökeres or Osimhen? Out of these two, Denji, I rate Osimhen a lot more, bhai. Like, if all these things are absolutely equal in terms of agent fees, player fees, wages, transfer fees, and stuff like that. So yeah, Nico Williams to Barca बोल रहा. मुझे भी पता है यार, मैं उसको तंग कर रहा हूँ. I know, उसने लाल दिल नीला दिल डाला था. Obviously, he's talking about Nico Williams, bhai. Yeah, I think it's a great signing, bhai. It's just a question of like how are they managing this financially. They have the money apparently. It's just a salary wage room. If they're extending, see, they will extend Frankie. I think they'll try their best to offload Ter Stegen. By the way, आप लोगों को पता है Ter Stegen को नई बंदी मिल गई. So congrats to Ter Stegen, bhai. But yeah, so I think they'll try and offload Ter Stegen. They'll try and offload Christensen, but I don't think Christensen will actually leave. I genuinely believe दोस्तों, they will try and offload Kubarsi कह रहा हूँ, Araujo. I think Inigo, Kubarsi and Christensen will be their main centre backs वाला. ठीक है. I think they'll actually try and offload Araujo. उधर से पैसे निकालेंगे, उसकी wages बचाएंगे. And I think that's how they'll get Nico Williams. That's what I feel. Someone commented Ter Stegen will be the first one to open their legs. See, I think this is one of the things. Dekho, my only, it's not really a complaint. It's sort of like a concern. My only concern with how Barca sometimes operates financially is, like, I think this Rooney Barca wala deal is fantastic, ठीक है? But other times, like Nico Williams, the kind of contracts they sometimes end up giving out, na, they start biting them back also. Like the kind of contract Ter Stegen is, he doesn't want to leave. Christensen doesn't really want to leave despite his lack of availability in the last year or what. ठीक है? अराहो को ऑफलोड करना काफ़ी मुश्किल होगा. अभी फ्रेंकी को नई वेजेस मिल जाएंगी. लेट्स से सम ग्रेट मिडफील्ड प्लेयर becomes available in a few years. Let's say hypothetically, Vitinha becomes available in a few years and Barca wants Vitinha, but they want to offload Frenkie for that. But Frenkie की नए वेज स्ट्रक्चर में कैसे होगा? So that's what I feel that my only concern with how Barca sometimes does is the contract they end up offering na, whether it's the Lewandowski sort of contract ki initially low wage होगी but as and when the contract keeps on going आपकी wages बढ़ती रहेंगी. Total value को आप front load नहीं back load कर रहे हो. So I don't know, sometimes that's the only concern I have. But I think I'm not too worried about it. Deco and Laporta probably know what's happening and what they're doing. So yeah, I really hope as a concerned fan and of course of the Barcelona alliance that I just hope ये election year gimmicks ना हो. आप लोग समझ रहे हो election year gimmicks? Like आपको पता है ना what the election year gimmicks are? We've seen this in like regular politicians anyway. So I just hope like election gimmick na ho ye. That's it. Did you watch Sundowns? Mamelodi Sundowns? I haven't, but I heard good things about them, bhai. Next year president, yeah, that's what I'm saying यार, फरहान भाई. बार्सनल में तो मार ली थी आपने यार. एक बात बताओ मुझे, ठीक है? It was actually so funny to read the comments after that Baba and Lol stream. I genuinely think if you have watched that stream from start to beginning, there was no club that was spared. United, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Madrid, Barca, सबका मजाक उड़ाया था हमने. So and it's sometimes maybe it's just a thing of, I don't know, maybe most of the Barca fans are younger ones and stuff like that, so maybe they feel a little bit more कि like मजाक कैसे बना दिया and stuff, but it's genuinely like crazy यार मेरे हिसाब से कि like लोग इतने ज़्यादा sensitive हो जाते हैं. Like kudos to everyone who took it like in the right spirit. I'm not saying कि सारे Barca fans ऐसे थे. बहुत सारे Barca fans actually were like pretty fine and laughing about it. पुलगा भाई को देखो यहाँ पे, है ना? So I don't know, man. But ठीक है यार, that's the long and short of it. It's the part and parcel of making content, I guess. It's just the funniest, कि like, ओए तुम हमारे टुकड़ों पे पलते हो और हमें गालियां देता है. मैं कह रहे भाई ये क्या बात हो गई? हमारे टुकड़ों पे पलते बोल लिया किसी ने यार. आई वाज लाइक शिट भाई, ये क्या हो गया? लोगों को टुकड़ों पे पालने की बात कर दी यार. बट ठीक है यार, अब क्या ही कर सकते हैं. मानस भाई इज इंसेन रेज बेटा. वो 100% भाई, 100%. Every club was judged by their performance, Barca by fans. Obviously brother, like लिवरपूल का हमने क्या बोला था? लिवरपूल का भी कौन सी परफॉर्मेंस पे करी थी हमने? लिवरपूल का भी जब मैंने मजाक उड़ाया था स्टार्टिंग में, ट्रेंट की उस पर ही तो उड़ाया था कि ये नहीं रख पाए ट्रेंट टू मैड्रिड रूमर्स का एंड ऑफ द एरा हो जाएगा. जो टीम्स अच्छा करती हैं ऑब्वियसली उनका परफॉर्मेंस पे थोड़ी मजाक उड़ा हो गया. You will find other things to make fun of. United to make fun of performance is easy. Chelsea is easy. Arsenal is easy. City this season was easy. है ना? But जिनकी performances अच्छी थी, like Barca was such a good team this season. And Liverpool is such a good team this season. अब उनका परफॉर्मेंस पे क्या मजाक उड़ाओगे कि ओ हो वो कितनी बुरी खेली बारसा, 3-4 ट्रॉफी जीत गई बारसा इस सीजन. अरे सोचा तो करो यार, जिन लोगों की परफॉर्मेंसेज अच्छी उनका किसी और चीज़ पे मजाक बनाना पड़ता है. एनीवेज, किट रिव्यू डाल दो भाई. वीव डन एन एंटायर स्ट्रीम विद मुक्तेश. यार आप कहाँ हो? चक्रवर्तन भाई. तुषार says talk about Konate new contract refusal. Oh, good question. Konate not renewing his contract. So I think this was a problem that was sort of inevitable anyway. अगर आप ये देखोगे, लिवरपूल ने साला को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिए, वैन डाइक को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिए, एंड मेरे हिसाब से, थैंक यू सो मच बतूला भाई, विल टेक द सुपर चैट इन अ बिट. So if you actually look at it, Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, Trent, all of these guys were super useful. And I think I would argue even Konate was as useful as Van Dijk in that defense, right? Without Konate, it was either Kwanzaa, Joe. I think there was a stretch of games where Kwanzaa was playing, and I think there was one game जहाँ पे United ने Liverpool को हराया था उस stretch में. It was either Gomez, who himself has injury issues. So Konate becomes a very important piece, and I think when you start seeing whatever the wages were given to Salah and Van Dijk, Konate would be like, give me at least like a majority chunk of it, make me feel valuable. You also have to understand, I think Konate की age क्या है chat, कोई मुझे बताएगा? I think Konate की age is, let me just check it myself actually. Konate age, he's 26 years old, and I think he'll turn 20, he just turned 26 this year, ठीक है? Whatever the contract he gets, it's going to be one of his biggest contracts, because now he's going to be entering into the peak age of a defender. He's going to be the 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 तक मेरे मान लो contract चलेगा उसका, ठीक है? So he will obviously ask for big money. Now, Liverpool obviously want to structure their wages in a way which is not that thing. Now, I don't know Liverpool ने कितना actually offer किया है Konate को. There are some talks that he refused a 200k per week, which I don't know why. I think 200k plus bonuses should be more than good enough for somebody like Konate. There's scope to extend from that point of on. And stuff like that. And even if he goes to another club, let's say people say he'll go to Madrid or he'll go to PSG, I don't think it's going to be much more. ज़्यादा 300k मिल जाएंगे उसको. Fair enough. 300k per week is absolutely huge. But what's the extension beyond that is a very confusing question for me. Bhai. So I think 200k plus bonuses, which will probably take it up to 250k, is more than fair. Bhai. But if he refuses and if he doesn't sign, first of all, if you're a Liverpool fan, do you sell? Do you keep on negotiating? Because I think his contract ends next year, right? I think this is his last year of the contract. Hi Daksh, if you could sign any player in the world. But first of all, let me take that super chat, bhai. हमारे भाई ने एक super chat करी थी. Batula bhai says, signing Rodrigo takes Arsenal to another level. I agree, dude. I think Rodrigo जैसे प्लेयर्स बहुत कम है मार्केट में. He can do everything by himself. मैंने बस आज एक बड़ी कंसर्निंग सी रिपोर्ट पढ़ी थी मारियो कोर्टेगाना से, which basically said that a lot of times Rodrigo has some motivational issues, कि वो ट्रेन नहीं करता है, या फिर when he feels things are not going his way, he throws up tantrums. That was one of the reasons why Ancelotti didn't really call him up for the Brazilian national team. And he's spoken about, like, this has been spoken about in close circles, but not primarily in media. So I will come to Real Madrid fans iske baad after the Konate discussion about Rodrigo and his attitude issues and stuff. But Konate, let's come back to Konate before we touch back on Rodrigo. And I'm very excited if Rodrigo really happens. But dosto, what's a fair wage for Konate according to you guys, if you're a Liverpool fan? And if he refuses, what is the deadline? आप किस लेवल कब तक नेगोशिएट करने की कोशिश करोगे बिफोर यू से नहीं बेचने का टाइम है? वी डोंट वांट टू रिपीट अ मैड्रिड, वी डोंट वांट टू रिपीट ऑफ अ सिचुएशन जहाँ पे एक बहुत टैलेंटेड प्लेयर फ्री में जा रहा है, एंड वील हैव टू लुक फॉर अ रिप्लेसमेंट. इट्स गोना कॉस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, एंड या ही विल प्रॉब्ली गो टू ईदर PSG or Real Madrid in that scenario. We let him run his contract down and we call him a rat, says Amber. Good point, good point. FSG should have been a little more proactive in this scenario. But I think FSG ki probably priority was to get Salah and Van Dijk signing a bit earlier. Maybe I think that was the priority. Gehi ki deal is like an early protection move in case Konate deal goes south. Otherwise, Van Dijk ain't getting any younger. I agree. 150k, 175k. We'll talk about Ezra Spurs. 210, 225, 200k max. Right now it's 70k. Listen, I'll just say one thing here. 70k is probably like a base wage, just like how Diaz ka 55k is a base wage. If you actually read Liverpool ke accounts, there is no way you can have player wages and non-player wages just amount to that huge amount, but you're paying everyone else 55Ks and 70Ks. 70K is most likely a base wage, जो मेरे हिसाब से appearance bonuses से लेके कुछ भी basic bonuses करते करते हैं, I'm pretty sure it touches 120 whatever K. तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि 70K से कोई पागल है कि सीधा 200K मांगेगा. It's more likely that he's on 120K and now he's gonna ask for an extension to 200K. That's what I feel is what's gonna happen. How about Morgan? We'll talk about Rogers as well. Hi Daksh, if you could, ho gaya. We'll get to that. Girisha Sharma, we'll get to that as well. So for me, I think you're right. Gehi is probably like an insurance chip to get somebody like him. He's also in the last year of contract. उसको अगर 30-35 million में आ जाएंगे, it will be another Konate like deal. I think Konate was gotten for like 25 million whenever he was signed from RB Leipzig. And now getting somebody like Gehi who's Premier League proven, all that stuff. He's also pretty young, bhai. Also an Arsenal fan. But getting Gehi to Liverpool was a stroke of genius from FSG again. And I think अगर आप देखोगे उसके बाद आप कोनाटे को अगर आपने इस साल बेच भी दिया. Alright, chat. What is a fair value if Konate gets sold this year? What do you think is a fair value for Konate this year? If not Rodrigo, get Yildiz. Yildiz is signing a contract extension, Brando. 65, 65, 58, 30, 60 million for Konate, 40 to 45 million, 30, 40, 54, 30, 30, 45. All right, so let's say if Gehi is worth 35 million, approximately. Let's say Gehi is worth 30 to 35 million. Konate should be 40 to 50, right? But the reality is, who's going to pay 40 to 50? That's the thing, right? Nobody's saying Konate should be worth 100 million. But who will pay 40 to 50 rather than waiting for 12 months? That's my only concern with these valuations here. 45 million is fair enough for... Yeah, I agree. I think 45 million is a good price to get those now. If Hausen is worth 50, I think that was a release clause, dost. Konate should be worth 60. And like I said, Hausen had multiple years on his contract left, had a release clause, which is what Real Madrid triggered. I don't see people spending 60 million on Konate last year में. PSG can pay. यार देखो PSG के अगर आप अभी सेंटर बैक्स देखोगे, it's Marquinhos, Pacho, Beraldo. ठीक है? That's it, right? और अभी कोई सेंटर बैक है उनके पास? I don't think so. And yeah, they're getting Zabarni as well. Zabarni के लिए I think they're trying to get 60-70 में उधर का deal close कर देंगे. Lucas Hernandez is also there. सही बोला उसने. Kimpembe भाई, what a guy. So they have a few people, which is why I don't think it's going to be as desperate a situation for PSG to sign him right now. If they get Zabarni especially यार, I think अगर वो 60-70 मिलियन में Zabarni ले देंगे और उसके बाद पाचो तो है ही है, Marquinhos भी है ही है. I don't really see them actually doing too much this season. वो देखना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा यार. We want to sell John Stones. How much is he worth now? I don't know, bhai. It's very difficult to put a price on John Stones. At his best, he's really, really good, but he's not really available many, many times, right, dost? So that's what I feel is a huge issue. So I think personally, Konate के लिए अगर कोई अभी जाएगा, if it's PSG, if it's Madrid, they ain't gonna pay a single penny. Let's be honest. They're gonna offer 20 million and be like, हमने तो 20 million दिए थे, तुमने accept क्यों नहीं करे? PSG, I think they'll probably just get Zabarni's time. That's what I feel. Which is why I'm a little bit concerned कि Konate की market क्या है. Now, there can be a scenario जहाँ पे Bayern just let go of Kim Min-jae and Bayern end up paying some sort of fees for Konate. But all will depend on who Bayern let go themselves. देखो, Eric Dyer is already gone to Monaco, if I'm not mistaken. Ta has joined Bayern though. Ta has joined Bayern already. I forgot about that. Konate will be very good for Madrid because then we can offload Alaba. Alaba, Rudiger's getting, injured and uski bhi age ho rahi and stuff like that. I think he actually fits Madrid quite well. And Konate फिर Trent को वहाँ पे भी cover कर सकता है. But I don't know if Xabi will prioritize that. I think Madrid की actual priority should be a controlling midfielder right now. So I don't see Madrid spending that kind of money right now. They'll probably wait for his contract to end. If Konate leaves Liverpool for any other club, it must be Madrid. Chat, thoughts on Konate to Barcelona? Thoughts on Konate to Barcelona? See, Barca's current centre-backs are Inigo, who's getting really old, Pau, who's really, really young, Araujo, who I think is going to be out of favour soon, and Christensen, who's usually very injured. I'm not saying hoga ya nahi hoga. I'm saying thoughts. What do you think of Konate to Barcelona? Ball playing के लिए I think you have Kubarsi anyway, but I think eventually you need to let go of the load on Inigo, right? Inigo कितने? Eric again, I don't like. Come on, man. You'd rather keep Eric in that centre back position over Konate. Ideal world, Housen to Barca ऐसी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. Housen to Madrid is a really really good fit, considering the coach they also have. Barca has their academy, and if they sign, they'll sign somebody young, 20 to 21. I personally don't think 26 is old. अगर आप 27 पे भी अगर आप इनीगो ले सकते हो, देखो बारसा का जो फर्स्ट कॉन्टैक्ट इनीगो के साथ हुआ था एथलेटिक पे, इनीगो वाज मच यंगर देन व्हेन दे एक्चुअली फाइनली गॉट देम. ठीक है, नो थॉट्स राइट नाउ, वी आर स्टैक्ड अप. आई थिंक योर सेंटर बैक सिचुएशन, बारसा की सेंटर बैक सिचुएशन विल एक्चुअली creep up on them faster than they realize. See, before Kubarsi, before Araujo, before these guys came to the mainstream and stuff, we were still witnessing PK in the centre back position, right? PK, Busquets, like it got to the point कि like it was actually untenable for Barca to continue with these players. Dani Alves आ रहा था, Alba था, PK था, and these were legends of the game, legends of Barca and stuff like that. But they got really really old, is what I'm saying. सो आई थिंक हाँ 2018 में टारगेट किया था इनीगो को. आई थिंक दिस इज़ मेरे हिसाब से गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी. आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड मूव. किसी ने डिस्कॉर्ड पे, अयान ने डिस्कॉर्ड पे भी सजेस्ट किया था. इट्स एक्चुअली इफ यू थिंक अबाउट इट, आई थिंक इट्स अ फैंटास्टिक आइडिया टू एक्चुअली थिंक ऑफ गेटिंग कोनाटे फॉर बार्सिलोना मेरे हिसाब से. या ओ नो क्रिस्टियानो, आई थिंक PSG इज ऑलवेज ऑब्वियसली गोइंग टू बी अ स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर मेरे हिसाब से फॉर कोनाटे. वी हैव कॉस्पो, कुएंका. Yeah, I think if that really doesn't happen, then maybe. Luis Enrique wanted Marquinhos in 2016 as well. Konate injury prone bhi hai. He's not as injury prone here. And I think if you have a backline of, say, Christensen, Inigo, Kubarsi, Konate as your front four, your main four, assuming you sell Araujo and stuff, I think that's a good rotational backline here. And I think Konate say you'll solve one of your biggest problems, which is height and strength. Abhi currently in this Barca backline, only mere hisab se Araujo is the one capable of handling height. And we saw what height is a big factor, especially against teams like Inter. So backline mein height lana mere liye thoda important hai for Barcelona. And I think Konate actually ticks those boxes. Christensen is most probably leaving. आज ही मैंने उसका पढ़ा था. He doesn't want to leave, dude. That's what I feel. It's very stacked. Pau, Inigo, Eric, Christensen, Kunde. And there are power level youngsters in La Masia. All right. Most likely then this should probably not go. But I genuinely feel if Barca should actually try and explore this Konate deal once for them. Barca will go to Mosquera. I am telling you, Mosquera will end up at PSG. I have a very strong feeling Mosquera will end up at PSG. We need CB with supreme ball playing ability to play that high line. Konate ain't a bad ball player, dude. He might not be as good as Housen or Kubarsi, but he ain't a bad one. Yeah. Messi says, come to my home, I have heating. Konate is the ideal signing, but wage cap is the problem. Yeah, probably. If you get him for free or a discounted price, I don't think it's a bad signing. Barca will probably sign a left back. All right. How do I rate Housen? Housen, I think, is a very, very good player, man. Very few players are as good as he is. With his left foot, right foot, he can play either left centre back, right centre back. Good understanding of danger. Aerially, he's very, very good. Striking, ball playing. Everything is really, really good about him. Yeah. He's a very, very good talent that Madrid have picked up, to be honest. All right. So somebody asked about Rodrigo. Now, I think Rodrigo to Arsenal is my dream left winger signing. Will he come or not? Again, it's still up in the air. But जैसे जैसे मैं signs देखे जा रहा हूँ, for example, he's not starting, and then of course red card आ गया था, so he didn't get minutes. But I don't know, man. The more I listen to it, the more I feel. So here's how I see the equation. I think he wants to stay. And I think he's desperate for Xabi to give him a role in this team. He doesn't want to play right pe. Although in the first game he did play on the right, but he doesn't want to. I don't think he's going to play centre forward, especially agar Mbappe fit hai एंड बुदिमीर जैसा प्लेयर वो साइन करने की बात कर रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट दैट ला फैब्रिका टैलेंट जो है उनका, क्या नाम है, गुंसालो गार्सिया, रियली गुड प्लेयर भाई, व्हाट अ प्लेयर ही इज. आई जेन्युइनली थिंक मैड्रिड शुड स्टॉप ऑन द स्ट्राइकर एंड गुंसालो गार्सिया को ग्रूम करना चाहिए भाई. व्हेन वाज द लास्ट टाइम मैड्रिड एक्चुअली हैड अ इन हाउस टैलेंट अपार्ट आफ्टर राहुल? राहुल के बाद कोई आया है मैड्रिड से अकेडमी से जो स्ट्राइकर था अच्छा सा? Mariano? Was Mariano an internal guy? I don't know, man. So, Morata is internal from Madrid. I didn't know that. I thought he was from some other academy. Morata. Hesse. Oh, Hesse. Yes, yes, yes. Raul was an Atleti product. Then my mistake, brother. I'm so sorry. Morata Lamafa. Anyways, I still feel Gonzalo Garcia should be given an opportunity. It's a money-saving move. It's a good thing for Real Madrid to have a homegrown talent leading the line, sort of making up for Mbappe. He's not that young. He's not 16, 17, but he's not that old also. I think he's like 21, 22. Gonzalo Garcia. Yeah, so... How old is he? He's Gonzalo Garcia is 41 years age दिखा रहा है. ये वाला यार, ये वाला कितने साल का है? 41. He's 21 years of age. So good age यार, I think. Not a bad signing to have मेरे हिसाब से. So 21 साल का लौंडा यार, खिलाओ इसको. Now इसके बाद भी अगर आप सेंटर फॉरवर्ड पे रॉड्रिगो खिलाना चाहते हो, जैसे अब लोग लिख रहे हैं, एंड्रिक इज ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग. एंड्रिक है ऑलरेडी. राइट पे देखोगे आर्दा कैन प्रॉब्ली डू अ जॉब देयर, फ्रांको कैन डू अ जॉब देयर. फ्रांको को हमने अभी तक नहीं देखा मैड्रिड के लिए, बट फ्रांको कैन प्रॉब्ली डू अ जॉब देयर. एंड बचता है लेफ्ट. नाउ लेफ्ट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू सी विनिशियस और रॉड्रिगो, विनिशियस ओवर रॉड्रिगो, रॉड्रिगो ओवर विनिशियस. क्या इक्वेशन बैठती है वहाँ पे? ब्रहीम भी है, थैंक यू सो मच. या 1 HP अल्फा भाई, हमने रूनी बार्तोस के बारे में बात कर लिया ऑलरेडी. स्टार्ट ऑफ द स्ट्रीम पे आई थिंक वी स्टार्ट विद दैट. राघव, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर रीजॉइनिंग वंडर किड्स भाई, लव यू सो मच ब्रदर, थैंक यू सो मच. सो या आई डोंट नो मैन. रॉड्रिगो ही वांट्स टू प्ले ऑन द लेफ्ट. उसके पापा भी चाहते हैं वो लेफ्ट पे खेले, वो भी चाहता है वो लेफ्ट पे खेले, बट क्या विनिशियस को वो कर पाएगा? डज ही वांट अ सेकेंडरी रोल आफ्टर विनिशियस? You never really know, man. You never really know. That's what I'm saying. I just don't feel he wants to leave Real Madrid. He'll post on social media happy. He'll post those match day graphics. Like, मैंने आप लोगों को जैसे दिखाया था, like, वो तो विक्टर ग्योकरेस तो भूख हड़ताल पे पहुंच गया. उस लेवल के desperation पे है. I genuinely don't see Rodrigo pulling that sort of desperation out. But मारियो कॉर्टेगाना, रॉड्रा, ये सब लोग कह रहे हैं कि आर्सेनल का इंटरेस्ट जेन्युइन है. कार्डेना SCR ने भी लिख दिया था कि आर्सेनल का इंटरेस्ट जेन्युइन है, एंड मैड्रिड विल लेट हिम गो फॉर एटलीस्ट 90 million euros, विच इज़ अराउंड 75 million pounds के आसपास. इफ़ दैट रियली हैपन्स, अगर 70 million pound पे आप रॉड्रिगो, मैं तो कहता हूँ 100 million euros ही कर दो मैन. अगर आप 70 million pounds प्लस में रॉड्रिगो जैसा प्लेयर ले ले तो यू शुड गो फॉर इट मैन. Even after Vinny poor performance in both games, Rodrigo isn't starting. Isn't that concerning? Yeah, I think first game was anyways just the first game, and second game का आप asterisk डाल सकते हो कि it was a red card. I'm just very surprised he didn't get any minutes though. Any minutes. बट अभी तक रॉड्रिगो एंड शाबी की बात नहीं हुई है. मे बी शाबी फिगर्स आउट समथिंग विच विल मेक यूज ऑफ रॉड्रिगो. Might not be a left-sided position, might just be a 10. Let's not forget, Jude is about to get surgery and he's going to be out for a few months. What if he repurposes Rodrigo as a 10 and Rodrigo finds himself happy in that role? We just don't know. Something like that can happen. So my only concern is, what do we really do, man? What do we really do? I want Rodrigo, but I just don't see him pushing for a move at all, bhai. Finally, a new badge. Let's go, says Raghav. Anyways, what's up, brother? How we doing this summer? I am bored to death with Arsenal transfer rumors. Please sign somebody. We're all desperate for that dopamine. But thank you for supporting the channel for 24 months. It's absolutely insane, bhai. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. What? Jude is going to be sidelined for months? Yeah, I don't know when he's going to get that surgery, but apparently that surgery is going to be serious. And I think 2 से 3 महीने तक का उसका lay off होगा मेरे हिसाब से. 2 to 3 months minimum. That's what I feel, दोस्तों. Zero Ball Knowledge is a member for 6 months. Thank you so much for being a member, brother. Love you so much. 6 months is crazy. Approx 3 months. Yeah, man. After CWC, I think he should have already gotten surgery, if I'm not joking, dosto. I think he should have gotten it in the off season. The fact that he played for England as well during that time is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. Thoughts on our window, Umesh bhai? You're ruining the market, Umesh bhai. Absolutely ruining the market. 150 मिलियन यूरोस तक दे रहे हो आप प्लेयर्स के लिए. ट्रांसफ़र में आप इतने रिलीज क्लॉजेस ट्रिगर कर रहे हो. 40 मिलियन का आपका नया लेफ्ट बैक है, 35 मिलियन का आपका नया राइट बैक है, एक और सेंटर बैक आ रहा है 35 मिलियन के लिए. फिर आप जाओगे स्ट्राइकर के लिए जो 100-120 मिलियन करेगा. रूइनिंग फुटबॉल उमेश आहूजा. योर क्लब इज़ रूइनिंग फुटबॉल. बट उमेश भाई हम बात कर रहे थे कोनाटे की यार, कि क्या होगा कोनाटे के साथ. आपको क्या लगता है? He has been playing with that injury for the last 19 months. I understand. CWC is not that serious. Shouldn't wait for it to end to get surgery. I understand. Maybe he just wanted to play under Shabi. You know, नया manager आया है. First few games उसके साथ बैठ के देखते हैं कैसे fit होता है and everything. Let him, you know, taste मिल जाए उसको भी Bellingham का. Daksh bhai, don't you think signing Mastan Tuono directly affects Arda Güler? I think Arda Güler की एक चीज़ है benefit में सबसे ज़्यादा, which is there is nobody else on that team like him anymore. Modric is leaving, Kroos is left. If you look at Madrid ka actual midfield, there's Ceballos who can probably do the playmaking and creativity, but really Ceballos. There is Tchouaméni and Camavinga, but they're not really that creative. They're runners, अच्छे players हैं. Jude can do creativity, but what else will you make him do? उसकी responsibility goals भी है, transitions रोकना भी, अब उस पर playmaking भी डाल दोगे, you'll kill the guy. And Fede again is more of a finisher and a carrier rather than a creative playmaker. He can, but not the most, which makes it so good for Arda because he's a decent carrier, he's a very good playmaker, he's an amazing shooter as well. Long distance से bangers भी मार सकता है. He's very, very good. So I think what works for him is there are very few players in that Madrid team like Arda. Now, if Real Madrid actually ended up signing somebody like Zubimendi, then I'd be like, हाँ अब Güler का future थोड़ा सा देखना पड़ेगा कि Arda कहाँ पे fit होता है side पे. So yeah, that's what I feel कि Arda still has a role in this team. There are a few players whose roles I'm a bit confused about. I think Brahim will again be a bench guy, although he's signing a contract extension, so maybe he's happy with that. I'm very concerned about Endrick's role in this team, and now I'm a bit concerned about Rodrigo's role in this team, dosto. Okay, let's see what people have to say. Umesh Bhai says, IMO, he will sign a new contract because World Cup year है तो वो ruin नहीं करेगा. फ्रांस के सेंटर बैक्स कौन है चाट? सलीबा है, कोनाटे है, फुफाना है. I think Saliba will be there. That's 100% sure. Saliba will 100% be there. Upamecano will also most likely be there. I think Konate will go to the World Cup. I think he's got enough credit in the bank that there's not a third French centre back, मेरे हिसाब से, at this level who will unseat Mr. Ibrahima Konate. That's what I feel, man. Ayush bhai, thank you so much for joining the membership, yaar. Welcome. With that Agent 47 DP, thank you so much for joining Youth Academy. So Upamecano, Saliba, Konate, maybe Euro. Nahin, Umesh bhai, Deschamps loves his Upamecano bhai. लॉन्गले कुंडे को राइट ही खिलाएगा यार. कुंडे राइट ही खेलेगा मेरे हिसाब से. Are you forgetting the great Longley? I think everyone should forget the great Longley, man. Pavard, yeah. This might be a controversial opinion, says Tanishq, but Marcus Rashford at Arsenal will do a better job than Rodrigo at Arsenal. Maybe, but the thing is, what is that risk really worth? So, for example, if you want to even get Marcus Rashford from Manchester United, you will have to pay 40 million pounds. And his wages are anyways going to be high. I'm not saying Rodrigo is going to be cheaper or whatever. But I feel in terms of consistency in the last few years, Rodrigo has shown us a lot more compared to Marcus Rashford. I think there are obvious doubts about Marcus Rashford, the media attention he gets. He is a good player. I really like Marcus Rashford. But I think number one, his heart himself is set at Barcelona. So he wants to go to Barca. I think he's pretty much done with the English media. My only problem is that I think he doesn't really know what he's signing up for with the Barcelona media. And I think Rodrigo, man, I think Rodrigo जैसे players ना market में बहुत मुश्किल से आते हैं. Like these are like those Ozil and Sanchez like opportunities जो बहुत कम मिलती हैं आपको market में. Once in a blue moon. एक player pretty much at the top of his game, might not be in the best of forms, but pretty much at the top of his game, suddenly being available because of such crazy circumstances at another club. He's not on the decline, he's not out of favor, all of these things are not happening. मतलब he might be out of favor, but he's definitely not on a decline. एंड एक प्लेयर जो ऑन दी अप एंड अप होता है वर्ल्ड क्लास लेवल पे, ये ऐसे प्लेयर्स मिलना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. लाइक आई डोंट नो. एंड लुक, Rodrigo is, bro, he's 24 years old, man. 24 years old. Like, people are not understanding. If Rodrigo comes and it works, that's a sure shot 8-9 years done, भाई. अब सोचो 23 साल का साका एक विंग पे, 24 साल का रॉड्रिगो दूसरे विंग पे, भाई. That's insane. That's in a time, in a transfer market जहाँ पे players like Gittins are gonna go for 55-ish million, 45-ish million. I don't know what the price is gonna be. Where players like Garnacho are gonna go for 55, 60 million, whatever the price might be. You can probably put in 15-20 million extra pounds mein, get somebody like Rodrigo. That's insane, bhai. I think Mikel Merino through the center. Now that's actually a very legitimate concern, because I genuinely, dosto, do not feel we will get Rodrigo and Gyökeres or Sesko. Those are very expensive operations. See, we've already wrapped up Zubimendi. We are getting Kepa, but that's 5 million, so it's fine. Zinchenko might be leaving for 20 million to Milan, but we might be getting Hato, who himself is going to be super expensive. Agent से बात हो रही है, ठीक है. एंड रोड्रिगो 100 whatever million का आएगा, एंड उसके बाद आप 70-80 million किसी स्ट्राइकर भी मुझे बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है. So that will take it to 50 million for 60 million for Zubimendi, since we're not playing the release clause. 60 million for Zubimendi, 40 to 50 million for Hato, ठीक है, 60, 100, almost 100 for Rodrigo, 200, and 70, 80. That's almost a 300 million window. Unless हमने कुछ accounting wise या financial wise ऐसे कर लिया कि we already budgeted for Zubimendi since this was confirmed in January, तो वो 50 million हटा के आप 250 million का कर सकते हो, right? So that's what I'm saying, man. Who the F is going to pay for Garnacho? यार देखते हैं यार, अगर कुछ ऐसा यूनाइटेड एंड चेल्सी ने कर लिया कि अंकुंकू एक साइड चले जाते और गर्नाचो दूसरी साइड चले जाते, तो फेयर इनफ. बट मुझे नहीं लगता यूनाइटेड गर्नाचो के लिए. गर्नाचो और भी यंग है दोस्तों. गर्नाचो की एज आपको पता है क्या है? ही इज 20 years old. 20 years old. ही इज 20 years old. इतने यंग एज पे इतना एक्सपीरियंस वाला बंदा. हाँ, उसका भाई थोड़ा सा अजीब सा है और ये भी थोड़ा सा अजीब सा है, बट 20 साल के एज पे आपको एक प्रीमियर लीग प्रूवन विंगर मिल जाता है, आप दोगे पैसे? सॉरी. इज 20 years old, भाई. 20 साल का लौंडा है वो. 20 साल का लौंडा है. ही इज एक्चुअली जस्ट 3 years older than Lamine Yamal. That's crazy to even think about. So मैं कहता हूँ अगर 50-60 मिलियन में मिल जाता है गर्नाचो के लिए, कौन better than 55-60 million? I think it's better to just give a little more and get Rodrigo. That's what I'm saying, man. फिर in that case we'll have to go for a cheaper striker option, दोस्तों. It'll either be a Watkins for like 40-ish, 45 million, or you'll have to go for a cheaper winger option, somebody like Gordon maybe then. I don't know, man. Premier League proven. Are you joking for Garner? You might not believe it, but not many 20-year-olds are playing on a wing for a Premier League team, doston. And I understand there's so many problems with him, decision making, ये सब वो सब. But 20 साल का ये लौंडा भाई. 4 साल. If he plays for 4 more years, he'll be the same age as Saka. 4 more years, 4 साल, almost आधा decade खेलेंगा, he'll be the same age as Saka now. Jackson ले लो 40 million. How about Morgan Rogers as a left wing? I am very intrigued by Morgan Rogers as a left wing, yaar. Very intrigued. Jorel Hato to Arsenal? Yeah, brother. Do you not know about this? Wait, I'll show you. Some very reliable reporters are reporting this. Although one only thing which worries me is that Mokbel or Ornstein aren't talking about Hato to any club for that matter. Not even Chelsea, not even Liverpool, whatever it is. Now I can't find that Hato link. Okay. But essentially his agent is in London right now. Now London can also be Chelsea. मैं सब बातें समझ रहा हूँ. But a lot of Arsenal वाले लोग are reporting this guy Glon Gary. I'll show it to you actually. मैं यहाँ पे क्या याप कर रहा हूँ. रुको. Oh, not this guy, dude. This guy. So this guy Glon Gary looks funny, but he's followed by Ornstein, I think. Yeah, and if Ornstein follows somebody, the guy is pretty reliable. That's what I've understood. And yeah, Arsenal are basically super intensifying their pursuit for Mr. Jorel Hato. And I hope we get him because Liverpool are also in for him. Chelsea are also in for him. I don't know Arsenal आएगा या नहीं, but let's see. Ayush says Ornstein mentioned us for Hato today. Us कौन है? ये मेरे को बताओ आप कौन से आयुष हो? I know 2 Ayushes. One is a Madrid fan, one is a Liverpool fan. क्या आप अपने वाले आयुष हो जो डिस्कॉर्ड पे होते थे? So I don't know, man. Or if you're an Arsenal वाले आयुष, welcome भाई, first time. So yeah, if we can get somebody like Hato, fantastic bhai. Then I think it'll probably be Calafiori will move to Gabriel backup, Kiwior will be Saliba backup, White Timber on right back, Hato Miles at left back. Or maybe we can even move Miles to a CDM position and save sort of money. Although Miles is more of a centre mid than CDM, but I don't mind. I don't think he'll actually mind being there. So yeah, Hato के आने से काफी सारे options हो जाते, but it's gonna cost a pretty penny, bhai. It's gonna cost a pretty penny. That's what I feel. Okay, wait. Multiverse of Ayush is true. Garnacho, Delap, Neto. After spending 1 billion, we will be there. हर सीजन बैकअप डिफेंडर साइन करते हो, फिर एंड सीजन रोते हो स्ट्राइकर नहीं मिला. ओट मिल्क भाई, जब डिफेंडर्स जाएंगे तो हमें साइन करने पड़ेंगे, क्योंकि मैंने जैसे आपको बोला था, हमारे गैब्रियल और सलीबा दोनों को हैमस्ट्रिंग इंजरीज हो गई थी. गैब्रियल को सर्जरी करनी पड़ी और सलीबा को अभी रेस्ट एंड प्रिकॉशन लेना पड़ा. तो हमारे मेन सेंटर बैक्स इंजर्ड हैं. अगर हम उनके लिए कोई बैकअप नहीं लाएंगे तो किवियोर ही बचता है हमारे पास सेंटर बैक. हमारा टॉमियासो ऑलरेडी इंजर्ड है. बेन वाइट इस पूरे सीजन इंजर्ड था. अब टिम्बर को सर्जरी हो रही है हील पे, सो टिम्बर की इंजरी हो गई है. लेफ्ट बैक पे जिनचेंको ऑलरेडी इंजर्ड यूजली रहता है और हम उसको बेचने वाले हैं, तो हमारे पास माइल्स ही बचता है. तो आई अंडरस्टैंड देयर बिकम्स दिस थिंग ऑफ बोलना कि आर्सेनल डिफेंडर ही डिफेंडर साइन करता रहता है विदाउट एक्चुअली रीडिंग. But if you actually read and you follow the transfers and you actually look beyond Twitter narratives, you'll find we actually do need defenders. Everyone has around 8 defenders. If you look at Liverpool, right now on their defensive roster, they have Frimpong and Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, अभी गेही आ जाएगा apparently. ठीक है, that's 5. लेफ्ट पे देखोगे दे विल हैव सिमिकास, रॉबर्टसन, कर्केस. दैट्स 8 डिफेंडर्स ऑलरेडी. ठीक है, इसमें तो मैं कैल्विन रैमजी वगैरह तो देख भी नहीं रहा, बट ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. 8 डिफेंडर्स एंड आई थिंक एवरीवन शुड हैव 8 डिफेंडर्स. जो गोमेस, दैट्स 9. थैंक यू. सो इट्स यू हैव टू प्लग इन होल्स एवरीवेयर दोस्तों. Garnacho and Gittins are overpriced due to homegrown status. The best younger homegrown winger for rotation any player can be Nottingham Forest. Can get... Wait, what? The best young homegrown winger for rotation any team can get plays for Nottingham Forest. Or do you mean Elanga or Callum Hudson-Odoi? Rodrigo to Chelsea is as equal to Hazard to Chelsea to me. During his starting days, don't judge Hazard whole career. I'm just starting when he came excitement I'm talking. I understand it. Ola Aina Lelo. Old man. Ola Aina's old now. Ola Aina is 28 now. Although he's not that old now that I think about it, to be honest. Would you take Eze or Javi Simmons if available? If both of them are available, yeah, man, we should ideally go for somebody like him. Javi Simmons would be nice. I saw this no new thing thread. I don't know how much I agree with it, but he said getting Rodgers is equivalent to getting Javi and Rodrigo. He can be an all-phase attacker. Now, I don't know what it is. Indian cop, I'm saying Gehi bhi to aap log le rahe ho na? Like, you are trying to trigger the release clause. Mr. Daksh, do you think Alex Baina would move from Villarreal this season for any big club? Isn't he moving to Atleti? Atleti ja to raha na Baina. Why are Arsenal bad at transfer and what was reaction when Arsenal signed Ozil? Ozil was like 2011, by that's 14 years ago. We can't be buying Hato, says Pratik. Fair enough, man. We can't be buying Hato. Look, we need to figure out our striker situation. That's obvious. But it's also very obvious that there is no easy solution to that striker situation. So if Ornstein says Hato for Liverpool, fair enough, bhai. But Kerkez, Robertson, Simicas... Kerkez तो चलो अभी आया. Simicas और Robertson में से एक को जाना पड़ेगा. फिर Hato will come, which will cost around 40-50 million. Gehi will cost around 35 million. I don't know what's going to happen with Konate eventually. With Van Dijk, with Gomez, with right back पे अगर आप देखोगे तो Connor and Frimpong. White over Timber? Depends, man. Honestly, all depends. Both have different skill set. Robertson is going to Atleti. मुझे नहीं लगता क्योंकि Atleti wants to get him for very cheap and Liverpool wants to sell him for a lot of money. Lot when I say 10 million, 12 million, whatever. Which I don't think Atleti will spend that sort of money, unfortunately. Next year looks very crazy. Chelsea, Newcastle, please sign some good players. It will be a blast, says Ayushi. Chelsea will always sign good players. Chelsea will always sign players, let me just say. 10 million euro में दे देंगे. I don't think so. 3-4 million चाहिए उनको यार, आयुष भाई. Look, if you actually watch Atleti during the Club World Cup, Ayush bhai, their issues are for all to see. They have issues in the front line. They have issues in the midfield to an extent. Pretty non-existent wing play. They ended up getting like Gallagher and they have DePaul. But still, Sorloth hasn't really performed in the Club World Cup, right, this time. So, I think they have so many priorities. I don't think they'll spend 10 million right now. Cerezo won't spend 10 million मेरे हिसाब से. I don't know. देखते हैं. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm not right. Imagine if Rodrigo decides to stay at Madrid. Pratik, that's the sort of assumption we should be operating with, to be honest. It's nothing is guaranteed when it comes to Rodrigo, I feel. Yeah. Get Grimaldo as a left back. I think he's going to go to Barca, dost. Mr. Daksh, what do you think about Madrid? We are already playing so much better than last season. Tough to say. First game was first game. Second game we had 10 men. I still think with those 10 men also, you had a lot to thank Courtois for, bro. I think Courtois ने जिस तरह से saves pull off करे थे Pachuca के against, with Solomon Rondon leading the line. Rondon भाई अगर आपकी line lead कर रहा है और Courtois पे आपको rely करना पड़ रहा है, it ain't looking good, man. It ain't looking good, man. All right. Rodrigo to Bayern Munich, Rodrigo to Bayern, Rodrigo to City, Rodrigo to Chelsea. I just hope Chelsea end up signing Gittins and Garnacho so that they're out of the Rodrigo race. Although that has never really stopped Chelsea, right? When has too many players ever stopped Chelsea? But still, I will feel कि अगर उन्होंने Garnacho and Gittins ले लिया, तो they should be done at left wing, man. I have a feeling, honestly. बाकी बचेंगे बायन म्यूनिक हु कैन ऑफर हिम द मनी, सो आई रियली रियली होप लियाओ उनको कुछ हाँ हाँ बोल दे, या फिर निको इज गोइंग टू बार्सिलोना, दैट्स डन एनीवे. बचती है सिटी. अब सिटी के पास ग्रीलिश है, डोकू है, सविनियो है, बॉब ने भी अच्छा खेला था अपेरेंटली अलाइन के अगेंस्ट. सो या आई मीन आई रियली होप सिटी आर ऑल्सो नॉट इन द रेस, मैन. Which are the reliable sources? Just Ornstein, Mockbell. That's it, man. Ornstein and Mockbell and Fabrizio. These three you should always go for. What if Thomas leaves? We need another creative player. We do, brother. We do. Which is why Lucien Agume is somebody we're looking at. That's what I feel. Daksh Bhai, Deco is making very serious moves this transfer window. It's a long time since I've been excited to watch new non-academy players. I understand. And Global Waffles as well. Very reliable source. 100%. Daksh Bhai, do you think rather than buying a winger, we can get Gyökeres, Sesko? Both? No. Too expensive, man. By the way, let me ask you one thing about Sesko. So there's this rumor which is going on about Sesko. Now, one of the stumbling blocks between Arsenal and Sesko is asking for wage. तो चलो हमेशा होती है, agent fees तो हमेशा होती है. But Sesko is asking apparently for a release clause which is 20% more than the transfer fees Arsenal are paying. So let's assume Arsenal are paying around 80 million, 70-80 million के आसपास कर रहे हैं. उसका आप 1/5 करोगे, it will come out to be around 16 to 14 million plus. So let's say Arsenal buys Sesko for 70-80 million and हम 90-95-100 million का, 90 to 100 million का हम एक release clause डाल देते हैं. Do you think that's a deal breaker for you if you're an Arsenal fan? Or let's say you're charging after a player you really, really want, but they want a release clause in their contract. Would you go for a player or not? I don't think it's true, but it's not the worst release clause as Rando. I also don't believe it. But even if it's true, I genuinely don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. It should be a deal breaker, at least 50% more. See, here's the thing. First of all, nobody really pays release clauses like that. है ना? अगर 40-50 मिलियन का रिलीज क्लॉज हो, ठीक है, क्लब सोच भी सकते हैं. बट 80-90 मिलियन एक बार में आउटले करना किसी भी क्लब के लिए, मेरे लिए पर्सनली इट्स नॉट फीसिबल. क्लब्स डोंट हैव 90 मिलियन लाइंग अराउंड जस्ट टू गिव अवे लाइक दैट. ठीक है? सो अगर रिलीज क्लॉज होता है, पहली बात कोई क्लब 90 मिलियन एक साथ स्पेंड नहीं करने वाला है. अभी आप जुबीमेंडी का भी केस देखोगे, ऑल दो उसका रिलीज क्लॉज अराउंड 51-55 मिलियन का था, हम 60 मिलियन दे के उसको वो कर रहे, किश्तों में उसका दे रहे हैं. ठीक है? आई पर्सनली डोंट सी इट एज अ बैड आइडिया. वी एनी वेज लाइक आर टेरेबल एट सेलिंग प्लेयर. हम 40-50 मिलियन के प्लेयर को फ्री में जाने देते हैं. 80 million is too much? Okay. Daksh, can you explain who can be an academy player like Busquets, Puyol, Pedro, etc. signed at the age of 17 are La Masia guys, but Raul Odegaard signed at 15 and aren't Fabrica graduates? I don't know, man. I think it's more of a subjective thing. Honestly, genuinely a subjective thing. Mateta क्यों नहीं ले रहा कोई? को क्यों नहीं लेती आर्सेनल? Mateta को not getting, no man, then you will forever be a stepping stone club. So this is what I'm saying. As a fan, does it hurt your ego when somebody says I want a release clause in my contract? Is it an ego thing? Is it a bad business decision thing? What is your thing? Like, what do you believe? I think if you look at McAllister at Brighton, he had a release clause that Liverpool ended up triggering. If you look at Olise, he had a release clause which anyways Crystal Palace ended up removing with the contract extension. Yes, okay. City got Haaland with release clause. Stepping stone, don't know. Worth it? Yes. Okay. Okay. So आई थिंक लोगों को सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि तुम हमारे क्लब को स्टेपिंग स्टोन कैसे ट्रीट कर रहे हो. फेयर इनफ. ओके. Then he thinks that Arsenal is a stepping stone club. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough if that's how you view it. For me, here is my view. ठीक है. I think if you negotiate a release clause with Sesko, मेरे हिसाब से here is my point of view. ठीक है. And I'm looking it as a purely unemotional business decision. Not as an Arsenal fan. I completely obviously understand जो लोगों को feel हो रहा है stepping stone वाला thing. ठीक है. And उसका मूड यहाँ पे नहीं रहेगा. He'll eventually want to move. First of all, I think that's anyways without a release clause, nobody is ever guaranteed to stay with you forever. ठीक है. So here is the thing. I think in football, players and clubs look for the best business for themselves regardless. You've already seen what's happened with Gyökeres, right? ठीक है. Clubs and players both look for what's best for business. Number one. Number two, if you negotiate a release clause with him, it should give you more leverage over wages, agent fees, and all the other shenanigans. I think if you grant him a release clause of say 100 million, 95 million, whatever it is, and let's say striker market eventually इस level पे inflate हो जाती है, you can also have those timed clauses, right? कि last year of contract पे ये release clause active रहेगा, whatever it is. It should give you leverage over wages. आप उसको cheaper wages पे sign कर सकते हो. आप agent को बोल सकते हो हमने ये बात मान ली, lower your agent fees and what not. And you're also, I think there's also possibility if things genuinely do work out for Sesko and Arsenal, if Arsenal sign for Sesko, one, there is a possibility in the new contract he can completely agree to remove the release clause. That is a possibility if you perform good. It's a mutual discussion, mutual decision in that scenario. And if you achieve what you want to achieve with somebody like Sesko, and then you let him go for whatever release clause amount, 95 million, you can get a good replacement in terms of PSR. If somebody is paying 95 million lump sum to you, or you can negotiate 100 plus million, whatever, अगर आपको किसी को release clause नहीं देना, you hold a lot of power in that scenario, मेरे हिसाब से. The only bad part is that, like players will probably not take it as seriously. At the first sign of trouble or the first sign of a more attractive option, they can refuse to play and can force the club to accept something which is lower than the release clause. So player को आप काफ़ी ज़्यादा power भी इन scenarios में दे देते हो, which is not the best for the club मेरे हिसाब से. So this is my entire thing. You can get him for the release clause. Maybe in a new contract, eventually you can extend that release clause or remove it altogether if things really work out. So, देखो दोस्तों, I think I understand why it's an ego thing, but it really doesn't help us if we don't get somebody like him. Yes, thankfully in this scenario there is Gyökeres. I've told you, I've made my opinions clear on Gyökeres. I like him. I think he can work out, but I think Sesko is the one for us. And कि इन चीज़ों को ईगो पे लेके if you miss out on a talent like Sesko, personally for me, I think that's going to hurt us more in the long run than some release clause. That's what I feel, man. Why was Rodrigo being discussed though dreaded run from it Noni Madueke still arrives? I think Rodrigo was being discussed because I think he's a pretty serious target. यार. Cortegana reported this on the Athletic. Yeah, the interest is serious and stuff like that. Cristiano says Rooney क्या फिर से Rooney Barcelona. So that's his name. To be honest, the more I think about it, if we sign him for 70-80 million and sell him for 100 million after gives us 2-3 decent season is good enough for me. Which is what I'm saying, yaar, Aditya. That's what I feel. Noni Madueke though. 50 मिलियन कोट कर रही है चेल्सी नॉनी मैडुएके के लिए. मडूकी के लिए 50 मिलियन तो नहीं देने वाला मैं. Exactly, I think sometimes we need to be realistic. We in that club right now. थोड़ा खुद का इमेज बनाना पड़ेगा. If Sesko is what it takes us for the PL and UCL, 100 billion release clause से क्या दिक्कत है? Okay, yeah, that's exactly where I am. Not in terms of like we are not that club anymore and stuff like that. You can see somebody's super desperate to join us anyway. But for me, I don't think we should make it an ego trip thing. Um, that's it. That's genuinely what I feel. I don't think it should be an ego trip thing. We are terrible at selling. This gives us a minimum guarantee of a sell on anyway. कि अगर कोई इस बंदे को लेना भी चाहेगा 3-4 साल बाद, आप एक रिलीज क्लॉज की तरफ पॉइंट कर सकते हो. सो या, bring one more CDM only if Partey leaves, man. Only if Partey leaves. And it shouldn't be Palinia and stuff like that. No older CMs, man. Take Grealish. I think he'll be like the Sterling option for this season if nothing happens at the left wing. What is Berta planning? What is strategy? I think, like I said, I think chronically online रहने वाला behavior has cooked our brains to an extent that just because we don't know what's really happening in the offices, we believe that they also don't know what's really happening. I saw Tom Canton, was it, or Harry Semo tha, one of those two. They put out a nice video which basically said that I don't think Berta and Arteta are sitting in the boardroom thinking क्या हम इसको लें, क्या हम उसको लें. I think it's very obvious we have a choice. It's very obvious we have a number one choice. It's been widely reported what our number one choice is. We are just trying to get the best deal possible in our best circumstances for us, for the club. That's it. And if we don't get our deal with the number one choice on our terms and it's absolutely going to bleed us dry, that number one choice, we have a number two choice ready. In fact, if you actually read reliable reports, we also have a number three choice. So, मेरे हिसाब से, I think I understand the panic because of last year's window and stuff. But I think this year our targets are pretty straightforward. Last year, अगर Sesko वो contract extend नहीं करता last year, if he just had rejected us, we'd be in such a more stronger position with Leipzig. But the problem is, Sesko signed a contract extension last summer when we approached him. And now we have to deal with the guy who has 4 years left on his contract. And his agent is apparently a nerd in that scenario. So let's see what happens, man. Morgan Rogers will be very expensive. I think Aston Villa will sell so many players before they end up selling Morgan Rogers, although he will be a great addition, Pratik. But if Villa have to sell for PSR, they have Emi Martinez to sell. They have Ollie Watkins to sell. They might even sell one of their midfielders in Jacob Ramsey. They can sell one of their defenders anyway. So Morgan Rogers will be very, very late on the list of players that they actually want to sell. That's what I feel. Even in the Duran case, I think they wanted to sell Watkins first for 60 million, which we obviously did not want to pay in January. We believe he's worth 40 million, fair enough. So because Watkins nahi bika, they ended up selling Duran and ended up getting Asensio and Rashford on loan. And they also have Malin now. So, no, I'd rather think they would have Malin in the team, they would have Asensio in the team, they would have Rogers in the team. And then Watkins will probably be the guy from the centre forward line to be axed. That's what I feel. Did you see Athletic article about Rodrigo just dropped? Cortegana ने लिखा था ना? हाँ, वही उसी को ही मैं reference दे रहा था दोस्त. Ishan says, Gyökeres better than Watkins, better than Sesko. Yeah, look, everyone has their own opinions on all these three players. The reality is we don't know how any of them will translate. Watkins is probably the most risk-free signing in that scenario, but he's older. He's not really a link-up guy, but he'll give you some goals. The question is he the guy who will make you go from number 2 to number 1? That's up for debate. Gyökeres, again, played in the Championship, played in the Portuguese League, but we've seen what's happened to the Portuguese League in the Club World Cup, man. Shameful by Porto, by the way. But yeah, Portuguese League से Premier League, Championship से Premier League कैसे translate करता है? Are his mental attributes good enough to overcome his physical deficiencies in terms of whatever, contact, lack of headed goals, etc. वो देखने की बात है. Sesko, क्या वो अपनी potential realize करेगा? It's like, मैंने जैसे बोला अपनी वीडियो में, he's a lab-made striker, bhai. It's just about getting to that point. It's like LeBron, dude. I'm not saying he can be like Sesko is going to be the greatest of all time in that scenario. But LeBron is a freak athlete, lab-made basketball player आप कह सकते हो. ठीक है? आपको समझ नहीं आएगा. But only question was, LeBron पे इतना pressure था, क्या LeBron अपनी potential पे maximize कर पाएगा या नहीं? And that's really it. Simple सी बात वही है. How is Syria doing transfer window? Quality seems down, but Inter reaches good in UCL. Now that team is also broken. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what Syria does. I think अगर आप Napoli को देखोगे, they've gotten De Bruyne. Who else did Napoli just sign? They're signing someone else as well, right? I think they might get Nunes as well. Will be insane. So I just feel कि देखना पड़ेगा दोस्तों सीरिया में क्या होता है. Although Napoli is definitely in the lead. आज मैंने देखा था Milan is linked with Zinchenko. So maybe let's see if Zinchenko goes to Milan. What happens with Inter under Kivu? We'll have to see that. What happens with Juve under Tudor? Yildiz का apparently contract extend होने वाला है. So we'll see what happens there. They're linked with Sancho. Although Sancho का मैंने Fenerbahce के साथ भी link देखा था. Will Ekitike be a good fit for us? I think he will be. But unfortunately, Frankfurt is going to ask around 100 million, which I think is an insane amount anyway. Even if they bring it down to 80 million, again, Sesko, Ekitike, Gyökeres, none of them are worth 80 million strikers, dost. Let's be honest. But can't be, man. That's the striker market these days. Osimhen is difficult to negotiate. He might have a lower transfer fees, but higher wages. Something that clubs usually spend their most money on. So देखना पड़ेगा उसका क्या सीन होता है. Chat, around 400 people are watching. Please stream like कर दीजिए. Subscribe if you haven't already. We have 400 people but only 250 likes. Let's at least aim for 300 likes every stream. I think that's not an unreasonable thing to ask. The more you like, the more you subscribe, the better the channel grows. It's a pretty easy mathematical combination. Yeah, Modric, Milan. Yeah. Milan जा रहा है Modric. Wow, Arsenal not going for Leao. I don't know if he's for sale, number one. And I don't know how much it's going to cost, number two. And I'm pretty sure we must have looked at Leao before, but quite simply, we just decided not to go for him. That's what I feel, man. Yeah. What Ayush said about our chance creation. I think Sesko just fits us better, man. That's the only thing. If we get Gyökeres, we'll have to change a lot about the system. And I feel वो देखना पड़ेगा. I think Zubimendi will improve us a lot in possession, which was one of our biggest problems last season. But will he improve us enough to absolutely platform Gyökeres in the best possible way? देखना पड़ेगा. Like a lot of moving parts can work with Gyökeres, especially if he runs the wide channels. One of your wingers can actually take in a central position. Like I would prefer Saka being more closer to goal. That'd be nice. If we don't get Rodrigo, Martinelli being closer to goal will always be a good thing. And if we get Rodrigo and Gyökeres, then nothing like it, doston. Barca should go for Sesko next season. Yeah, you should. Have you seen this Rooney guy play? I've seen bits and pieces of it, before his ACL. He was a very talented guy. Rooney Barca. Arsenal, according to me, had a good season, then several cup-winning teams now, which should be focused league heavy or cup heavy. Look, I think if you want to be a top team, first of all, you can't enter a season with limited focus anyway. I understand people want to be radical, and I understand people want to be a little ahead of the curve and say, Carabao पे छोड़ दो भाई. 6 games हैं, 7 games हैं, बीच में crunch time पे आ जाती हैं ये games, वो छोड़ो, सिर्फ league पे focus करो and stuff like that. I don't think as a elite club you should function like that. I also don't think just winning a Carabao Cup next season saves Arteta or whatever. I just think a good cup run with a win at the end will do a lot for the squad, which has not featured in a lot of finals since Mikel Arteta has taken over. That's what I personally feel. So in terms of squad morale, in terms of a squad experience, taking an entire journey in a cup competition, going to the finals, absolutely winning and lifting it, like Newcastle ke liye theek hai, it's a special occasion. Palace ke liye theek hai, it's a special occasion. If you win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup next season, I don't think in the long term it should have any bearing on Arteta's future. I think what will really define Arteta's future is the league and the Champions League. But winning the cup will be good for the squad. That's what I personally feel. This squad needs to learn how to feel like winning an entire cup tournament. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah. Go big for Rodrigo and sign Watkins as a striker, says Nilesh. Thank you so much, Nilesh, for the contribution. Maybe that's the way to go about it. I don't know though. Watkins is okay. That's what I feel. But yeah, Rodrigo plus Watkins, I'll actually be okay with that. Is Ekitike good for us? I think Ekitike can work in many systems. The problem will always be his price point. That's what I feel, man. I think only FSG can negotiate a good price point for him. Mikel Arteta should bring Henry Martin from Club America. He's a fantastic striker. Haven't watched him, so I can't really say anything. Jonathan David apparently is going to Turkey, bro. So, pata nahi kya ho raha hai uska. Which other manager can take after Arteta? There's plenty, man. Like, who can take over. But again, what do we want from a manager who replaces Arteta? Obviously, trophies. Wow, what a revolutionary answer, guys. But somebody who can really just take this club forward in terms of players, platforming, the way we play and everything. बहुत मुश्किल होता है दोस्तों. But देखते हैं. Ange Postecoglou to Arsenal. Samu कैसा रहेगा? I think he's the rawest of all the young strikers. But again, he's just one of those guys, right? He can turn into one of the most elite forwards, or he can just crash and burn. 100 million euro is Frankfurt's demand for him, same as Marmoush. Likely ends up with the same price as Marmoush finally, 60 to 70, 60 GBP euros, which is fine IMO. I don't know, man. If you look at what they did with Kolo Muani, sold him for 95. I don't really know if Marmoush is going to be the blueprint or Kolo Muani is going to be the blueprint. When they understand they have a sort of bidding war for a striker, like you'll be there, Ayush, Chelsea will be there. Both are desperate for strikers. You will be, especially if Nunes is leaving. Chelsea anyways want a top striker, young striker. Fits their bill perfectly, actually. Yeah, I think Kolo Muani can be that blueprint as well, bhai. Marmoush was worth every penny for us. हाँ किसी ने नहीं बोला नहीं था पुनीत भाई. Don't worry. Why is Arsenal not going for Bina Gittins? Probably because he's already agreed it with Chelsea, bhai. 7 साल का contract and stuff. So let's see. What about that new Portuguese kid Rodrigo Moura? Good player, yeah. Good right back. Why isn't Arsenal going for Bino Gittins? So yeah, I think Chelsea ke saath he's already agreed a 7-year deal. And quite obviously Dortmund aren't willing to take a discount on that 50-ish million price point. So yeah, if 50 million is what's going to get us Bino Gittins, I think the club probably feels it's much better to invest 20-30 million more and get somebody like Rodrigo. अब बस लिवरामेंटो आ जाए दक्ष भाई. यार पुनीत भाई, मेरे को तो न्यूकासल से बहुत कम प्लेयर जाते हुए दिख रहे हैं, स्पेशली अगर वो एडी हाउ का कोई फेवरेट प्लेयर हो. अब तो रिक्रूटमेंट एडी हाउ ने पकड़ लिया है, तो टीनो लिवरामेंटो, ईसैक बड़े मुश्किल लग रहे हैं मुझे जाते हुए यार, टू बी ऑनेस्ट. गॉर्डन, आई डोंट नो क्या होता है गॉर्डन के साथ. चेल्सी हैज बिकम द डिडी ऑफ फुटबॉल. व्हेन वर दे नॉट, मैन? व्हेन वर दे नॉट? Yeah, Sambodh, we talked about it in the beginning. I am enjoying some games, but it's just, I think different teams are taking it very differently. I think European teams, especially the English ones, are taking it less seriously. They just want a break, I feel. I think for some teams, it's a testing ground, like for Pep, like for Xabi. It's a testing ground for tactics, testing ground for players. For the lower European teams like the Portos and stuff, it was a money-making tournament. And I think the South Americans, Africans and Asians are taking it the most seriously. That's what I personally feel, doston. Mark Gu Lalo Daksh, Chelsea will fit in system. La Masia graduate, good striker. Where, how much did Chelsea pay for Gu? I don't know, man. Daksh bhai, Mullin ka deal hijack kar le. Bilkul. Maduki to Arsenal, yeah, Maduki to Arsenal, nobody's going to pay 50 million for Maduki, man. Sorry. 5 million mein kharida tha unhone. So, yeah, they'll probably make a pretty profit on him, bhai. See, Chelsea ki striker situation is like this right now. They have Jackson, they have Delap, they have Gu. Those are 3 right now. They will get Emega next season onwards. So, that will be 4, which probably means Jackson will go. If they go for one of Ekitike or Osimhen this window, I'll be very, very surprised. But they can. That's having players in a position has never stopped Chelsea from buying them, right? They have Asugo, Amugu, Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, Andre Santos. I'm sure there are more that I'm forgetting in terms of those 6 and 8 positions. Drewsbury Hall, पता नहीं कौन कौन बैठा है उनके पास यार, ठीक है, कार्नी चुकुमेका, उगु चुकू, बहुत सारे यार उनके पास अभी. सो आई डोंट थिंक हैविंग प्लेयर्स इन अ पोजीशन हैज एवर स्टॉप्ड चेल्सी फ्रॉम बाइंग देम. They have Quenda on the wings, yeah, going for Gittins and Garnacho despite Quenda coming in next year. I know. Right back, I think, is one area you'll see them recruiting again. I think they'll get rid of Gusto soon, bhai. नौनी 35 का था, 28 का नहीं था नौनी. मुझे तो 24-28 का लग रहा था नौनी मडू की. Dakshay, aren't you afraid of Arsenal squad being left behind City, Liverpool this window, and Arteta ain't a manager that could outsmart slot Pep with lesser squad? I don't know, man, Siddharth. I think I'll start panicking if we're like a couple of weeks away from preseason and we haven't gotten players over the line. I think we will have a hard deadline on the first week of July before which we start pivoting. I think 21 जुलाई को हमारा first preseason game है. I think उससे 2-3 हफ्ते पहले हम ले आएंगे. Zubimendi should be there. I think Miles will be there. And I think Rodrigo के अलावा we should get one of the strikers in before preseason. That's what I personally feel. Hard lines होंगी pivot करने के लिए. अभी मेरे हिसाब से I understand इतनी anxiety है, but अभी के लिए पैनिक करना मुझे नहीं लगता. It makes sense personally to me. So let's see यार दोस्तों क्या होता है. But when it comes to lesser squad वाला चीज़, I'm sure, yeah, Slot and Pep are probably much better managers than Arteta. दोनों ने जीत के दिखा भी दिया है. But I don't think he's a bad manager in general. I don't think you can have the sort of campaign he had with the lack of striker at some point and the lack of winger and creativity at some point and still manage to still hang about. At least not completely collapse during the season. Like we probably needed to recruit in January, like City did, to save our season, but we didn't. And we still didn't really collapse. But no, not an excuse here. Should be pretty active in the market. I just don't want to panic right now. I'd still give it a few weeks. How about Visa as a striker? You know what? I've been thinking of Visa as a striker. Would be really cool as a backup option. But I think Brentford's going to bleed us dry, especially if they're losing Mboma. And they're asking 60-ish million for Mboma, man. Even if Visa moves, I think 40 to 50 to hoga Visa ka. Don't think we can spend that kind of dough on a backup striker, though. As a front striker, I think we can do much better. We're not a transition team. I think Visa is more of a transition guy. Estevao bhi hai. Yeah. Bhai, I will take Garnacho to Arsenal, not gonna lie. Look, these sort of deals aren't terrible deals to make as long as they make financial sense. Like when Chelsea were getting Sancho for 20-25 million, I was like, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Loan with obligation for 25 था, I was like, ठीक है, 2 साल में आप 25 million spread कर रहे हो, not going to be the worst deal. तो अगर ऐसे low risk deals होते, fair enough. But 40, 50, 60, 70, नहीं. Do you think a lot of players don't show it? अभी हमने ग्योकरेस का दिखाया था यार, नेको भाई. ग्योकरेस तो भूख हड़ताल पे चला गया. So let's see. Do you think Gyökeres for 70 million is a steal? Afterwards, two completely different players, some both. One's one of the best creative midfielders in the world. Gyökeres has had a good season, but I think comparing apples and oranges here. Atletico United says, घोड़े लग गए गुरु. Congratulations, bhai, on your elimination from the Club World Cup. अब rest करो, get some players. Let's see what happens. Barca to sign Van de Ven, RB and move Kunde to CB in some matches. I mean, yeah, Van de Ven's decent, bhai. Can they do it? Of course. All depends on what Flick wants to do, bhai. Second season Flick, we will be there. We will be there to see how he plays. Gehi to Liverpool, your thoughts? Yeah, man. 35 million, Premier League proven, 24 साल का बंदा. Why not? Why not? English है, homegrown है, सब. Everything's great, bhai. I don't see any problem with that. Puneet bhai says, I'll happily pay 80 million for Livramento. You ain't paying anything वैसे भी Puneet bhai. But yeah, you would be happy that the club pays 80 million for Livramento. Yeah, young player English है, right back है. मुझे बस ये लगता है कि you can't tempt Newcastle with money right now. Especially I think if PSR and FMV gets completely eliminated ना Puneet bhai, मुझे तो नहीं लगता पैसा will ever be an issue for Saudi clubs like Newcastle. We need a right-footed player like Gehi more than someone like Hato, says Pratik. I understand, man, but we got to do what the best we can do. You're right, which is probably why we were in for Hausen as well. It's just Hausen chose Real Madrid, and it's not really surprising. बट आई थिंक किवियर ने लास्ट सीजन जो एंड में कर लिया था, आई थिंक उससे काफ़ी लोगों को इंकरेजमेंट मिली होगी, एंड आई थिंक हिल फिट इन देयर समहाउ. 80 million में तो न्यू कासल विल प्रीटी मच सेल, बट लिवरमेंटो इज अ बेटर लेफ्ट बैक देन राइट बैक. लॉल यार, हाँ, लाइक लिवरमेंटो आई थिंक ही प्रेफर्स प्लेइंग लेफ्ट बैक, बट लुइस हॉल है उधर, तो आई डोंट थिंक दे विल एनीवेज मूव हिम देयर. बट मैं वही कह रहा हूँ अभी. आई थिंक आयुष, the cost benefit analysis that Newcastle have to do is, do they genuinely believe, let's be honest, they haven't really recruited apart from that one guy they got from South America, I forget his name. They recruited one guy, I think. Okay, they might get Elanga for that right wing position. Apart from that, they haven't really recruited, and it's a question for them to answer whether they can juggle the Champions League and the Prem campaign again. So वो देखना पड़ेगा हमें what they do. That's it. Livramento is like both flanks wala yaar, Pratik. I don't think the foot matters to him a lot. Isak और न्यूकासल का ब्रेकअप करवा दो कोई, सज मच्छिंद्रा दहल. ये देखो तुम लोग हैं दूसरों पे आंख मारने आगे, फिर से इनका ब्रेकअप करवा दो हैं. और अभी अगर कोई अभी मैड्रिड फैन आके बोल देगा कि कोनाटे और लिवरपूल का ब्रेकअप करा दो कोई, हैं आप क्या बोलोगे? हट. Malik Fofana is also very good, but the good thing is, as a rival, Chelsea is also interested. So see, Liverpool are interested and they will try to negotiate a really, really, really good deal. Why, Pratik? Because it's going to cost 80-ish million, bhai. You're going to a Champions League rival club like Newcastle and saying, हमें अपना best fullback दे दो, please. They ain't going to give you for like cheap. They're going to bleed City dry, they're going to bleed us dry. So, what were we talking about? Isak and yeah, so we'll see what happens with Konate and Liverpool. So Malik Fofana, Chelsea के लिए perfect fit भाई. Young है, बस young है. अगर वो iPhone के बाद पैदा हुआ है, it's in Chelsea's shortlist 100%. ठीक है? So Malik Fofana works out for Chelsea in that context. He'd want Liverpool, but Chelsea, and it's also a question of what does Lyon really do with that? Because Lyon are in financial issues, bro. Crazy financial trouble Lyon is in. So they'll want to maximize that, especially if Cherky is gone for like 30 odd, man. Yeah. John Texter, who's already sold his stake in Crystal Palace. So yeah. Good thing Liverpool spending money so they don't have an excuse if they lose the league. I don't think Liverpool anyways make an excuse like that regardless, man. I don't think Arsenal need any more defenders, but a winger would be great. Brother, in order of priority, for me, a forward. I'm not even saying striker or winger. I'm saying a forward, followed by a backup CM if Partey leaves, followed by a defender. Okay? What we're actually going to do is we're going to secure Hato. If we really do push for it, we're going to secure Hato. Unless Chelsea or Liverpool get him first. Then we're going to sign one of Gyökeres Sesko, and then we're going to wait for Mr. Rodrigo to see. Matt Turner went to Lyon, bhai. By the way, Nottingham Forest very cheekily just bought like 3 Brazilian talents from Botafogo for 35 million. Igor Jesus आ गया है और 2 और प्लेयर उन्होंने खरीद लिया. Chelsea is like Leonardo DiCaprio breakup. Although Leonardo DiCaprio just broke his policy. Will you take Madueke for 50 million? No one's taking Madueke for 50 million, bhai. Have to be absolutely nuts to pay 50 million for Madueke. Dekho, bhai. Even if we get Madueke, Jair Kunia, yes. Even if we get Madueke, he's going to be backup to Saka and probably fill in at left winger. You're not spending 50 million for a backup winger is crazy. Then we deserve to go bankrupt and lose the league and all that crazy stuff. बैकअप के लिए नहीं कर सकते आप इतना यार. साका जब फिट होगा साका खेलेगा. That's the reality of it. He'll probably be competing on the left because he can play on the left. That's it. So yeah, that's my thing. Now, there are rumors of a swap between Chelsea and United. And this is going to be our last thing today. Okay? We've spoken about Madrid, we've spoken about Barca in the beginning, so you can't say you're a La Liga hater. We gave them first priority. But this is going to be our last thing for today, dosto. And for that, please like the stream if you haven't subscribed, if you're new. 300 likes ho chuke hone chahiye. We are on 306. All right. So, please stream like kar do. And let's talk about this reported swap between Nkunku and Garnacho. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like a no-fee swap or if it's going to be one of those mutual PSR swaps. Regardless of what it is, let's do a poll. Since we haven't done a poll today, let's do a poll. Let me create a poll. If this thing happens, complete kare iska to in Nkunku Garnacho swap, who comes out better? Cool. So we will go for Man United. We'll go for Chelsea on the top this time. Chelsea. And we'll go for Chelsea. Cool. And we'll go for Man United. And we'll go United. Cool. So, dosto, let's do this poll for 10 minutes. We'll use a timer and we'll send some chat notifications because chat looks a bit dead today. Alright, dosto. So, if Nkunku and Garnacho swap, दोस्तों अगर अंकुंकू एंड गर्नाचो स्वैप होते हैं, who comes out better in the swap? United or Chelsea? किसका who will be better in this scenario? Will United be happier getting Nkunku and getting rid of Garnacho, or will Chelsea be happy getting Garnacho and getting rid of Nkunku? Arsenal 1 trophy coming, Arsenal 5 trophies coming, brother. Don't worry. अगर आपको करना है तो चेल्सी को वोट करना है तो एक्सक्लेमेशन चेल्स एंड एक्सक्लेमेशन वोट यूनाइटेड आप ये कर सकते हैं, बढ़ेगा ना. ये वोट क्यों नहीं रजिस्टर हो रहा है? इधर डिफ़ॉल्ट कमांड्स में पोल 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 इट शुड बी देयर, या इट शुड बी देयर. I don't know, chat. I don't know why it ain't working. Maybe my poll is broken. So if my poll is broken, then I will probably do it on YouTube then. Nkunku Garnacho, who comes out better? I'll have to redo the poll. Chelsea, YouTube पे कर लेना दोस्तों. I'm so sorry अगर मेरा इस पे नहीं चल रहा है. Man United. Alright, let me just close the poll. Show closed poll. Manage poll. चल तो रहा है इसमें तो. Font settings. Source. हाँ. Oh, चल गया. Sorry. Let me just close this poll then. It's working. It's working. End poll. Let me end this poll. आप मेन वाले पे करिए प्लीज. थैंक यू सो मच. हाँ, सो मोस्ट पीपल स्टिल फील चेल्सी. वोट अनडिफाइंड भैंस की आँख. या वोट चेल्स. जो लोग रॉड्रिगो कह रहे हैं उसके 2 सीजन के स्टार्ट्स देख लो. या हिज स्टार्ट्स, हिज नंबर्स डोंट लुक एज गुड एज विनिशियस और एम्बापे. दैट्स ट्रू. अगर आपको यूनाइटेड करना है तो वोट _YANITED या नाइटेड करना होगा. सो हियर इज माई थिंग, हियर इज माई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑन ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स. आई पर्सनली फील यूनाइटेड वुड बी गेटिंग अ गुड डील टू गेट रिड ऑफ Garnacho, बट Nkunku, here is the thing. Where does Nkunku really fit? Oh, again, this bloody poll ain't working, man. Fuck the poll. Here is my thing. ठीक है? Nkunku, either you're going to have to play him as 9 or you're going to have to shoehorn Mbeumo or Cunha as a number 9, which I don't think are ideal fits. Can work, should not work. अगर आप Nkunku के लिए पैसे भी दे रहे हो, let's say it's one of those पैसे swap वाला deal also. I think spending that much money for a backup 10 is bad on United's part. उनकी ज़रूरतें क्या है? एक आउट एंड आउट नंबर 9, मिडफील्डर्स जो इस मिडफील्ड को चला सकें. येस कोबी विल बी देयर, येस ये सब विल बी देयर, एवरीथिंग इज़ फाइन. ठीक है. विंग बैक्स चलो एक साइड पे अमाद एंड माजरावी संभाल लेंगे, दूसरी साइड पे कौन, डालो एंड डोरगू. I still feel that midfield and that number 9 are the biggest problems for Manchester United. You can say Garnacho, getting rid of Garnacho is a W for United. He's a problematic character and stuff like that. But if your strikers will still be Zirkzee, Cunha एक side पे, Mbomo दूसरी side पे, Ahmad on one wing and Dorgu on the other wing, 2 midfielder and 3 centre backs. I don't know, man. Nkunku is the same player as Cunha, a role for which they already had Mount. And that is also Bruno's best spot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Ayush. I am very, very skeptical that they're actually considering Cunha here. It's probably a Christopher Vivell fetish. That's what I feel. If they've already spent 62 million on a 10, if they're looking to spend 60-ish million on another 10, and they're getting Nkunku, despite already having spent money for Mount. And can I be honest? I genuinely think Zirkzee's best position is also a 10. I feel... Yeah, I have to say, man. I feel that's a bad deal for United. They should get rid of Garnacho, no doubts about it. I don't think they should get Nkunku. So, I think United would do very well not to get Nkunku. They should sell Garnacho though. They have to get that midfielder in, dosto. I can't tell you this much. I can tell you this much. There are so many good midfielders available that United should go for. Douglas Luiz, Palhinha on cheap. Get Palhinha, bhai. His tackling numbers are absolutely insane, मेरे हिसाब से. Palhinha है, Douglas Luiz है, Agume है, बहुत सारे players हैं. Get a number 9, whether that's Osimhen, whether it's Gyökeres, वो आपको देखना पड़ेगा क्या सीन होता है दोनों में से. But yeah, Nkunku, I really don't understand that one, chat. I really don't understand Nkunku, to be honest. Arsenal should go for Gittins too as well. They should negotiate hard for Garnacho in return for Santos. देखो पता है आयुष, उसके लिए then one of those Forest Newcastle type mutual PSR deals will work. Like they'll probably end up paying 50-ish million for Santos, and Garnacho के लिए they'll end up pocketing 60-ish million. That's what I feel. Angel Gomez free था लेकिन they didn't go for him. Angel Gomez तो ex-United ही है भाई. Eze to Spurs is a really good one, man. We haven't talked about Spurs in a while. Yeah, Eze to Spurs is a really good one. I appreciate it. It again all depends on what Thomas Frank wants to play at Spurs. We all expected Xabi to play like a back 3 at Real Madrid, but he obviously didn't play that. देखो यार भैंस क्या पोल में इतने ब्रोकन हो गए हैं भाई, मेरे को दोबारा पोल का सोर्स बनाना पड़ेगा इवेंचुअली. खैर, Eze to Spurs is a fire deal. I agree. Gyökeres ain't joining United. I'm not saying he's joining United, but he hasn't rejected them either. His just first preference is Arsenal. That's it. And that's because of Champions League. United should get Elliot Anderson, considering they're a mid-table club. Elliot Anderson will be playing Conference League this season, bhai. Eze probably plays a Damsgaard role for them and Maddison gets phased out. Let's see. I've heard Christopher Norgard is linked to Arsenal as an option for that midfield position. I've heard Spurs are also looking at Norgard. And Spurs will probably have an upper hand in that situation, bhai. Takshbhai, do you think upcoming CWC all teams should be given some money as reward for qualifying so even teams like Botafogo, Pachuca can sign some players? They've gotten participation money, dost. Sahil. What's your nastiest Club World Cup prediction for upcoming games? My nastiest one? Oh. Like true nasty will probably be an unfortunate injury, but I ain't gonna say to who. You shouldn't even put these things out in the universe. Real nasty prediction, I think Chelsea beat Bayern Munich. That's my nasty prediction. I think Chelsea will beat Bayern Munich and the fan base will lose its entire head. That's what I feel. What is breadcrumbing? निवाले दे के छोटे छोटे उनको हुक पे रखना, पुनीत भाई. Branthwaite, who was a top target as well, but Everton player. So yeah. Branthwaite at Spurs. They have Danso, Romero, Van der Ven, Dragushin, all those coming back from injury. फिर भी अच्छा. Fluminense is the final. All right. Baleba is gonna be expensive, bhai. You are going against the best-selling club in the Prem, asking for one of the top talents. We offered 80 million for Caicedo in the January before he moved to Chelsea. 80 million we offered in January. Did not budge. He wrote an entire bloody letter saying कि हाँ मेरा chapter यहाँ पे अच्छा है, मैं club को भी पैसे दे पाऊंगा. नहीं, they didn't budge. Is Gittins good for Arsenal? Yeah, I think he's gonna get good for Arsenal. Bro, where is Zubimendi pick leaks? ए प्रतीक भाई, मतलब अभी उसका मीडिया भी नहीं हुआ होगा, तुम्हें पिक लीक्स चाहिए नौला. अरे हो जाएगा भाई, हो जाएगा, डोंट वरी, हो जाएगा. Branthwaite only if Romero goes. Oh, if they're selling Romero, some club is gonna get bled dry, bhai. Most likely it's gonna be Atleti. Certain number 12 playing in the Club World Cup, says Ayush. How do you feel about Trent leaving, Ayush? It's been a while now. Have you like made peace with it? Or does it like still sting a little bit when you see him in that Madrid kit? Last week में 5 बार हो चुका है भाई, कुछ और भी कर लो आर्सेनल. मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, लोगों को ना घास छूने की ज़रूरत है यार. इट्स टाइम फॉर यू गाइज टू गो आउट एंड एक्चुअली मीट सम गर्ल्स. जोशुआ, हाउ आर यू मैन? I was convincing and telling, and I was fighting the good battle and telling everyone there is no need for you guys to sell Tino Livramento. Arsenal milking Zubimendi's transfer news, I can't lie. This shit is pissing me off. Which is what I'm saying, man. Turn off the internet, go out, make some new friends, talk to women. Stop watching transfer news, man. It is the useless thing you could do. I swear, you could have been offline for the entire week in the mountains of Himalayas and come back and nothing would have changed. क्या हुआ एक हफ्ते में बड़ी न्यूज़? वेट्स का कंफर्म हो गया जो हमें 1 महीने से पता था. फ्रिम्पोंग का आ गया था इंटरव्यू जो हमें 1 महीने से पता था. केरकेस के बाप ने बोलता रहा, वो हमें पता चल गया. और कोई बड़ा ट्रांसफर 1 हफ्ते में हुआ भी है दोस्तों, विच वी में लाइक व्हाट द फक नहीं हुआ है. सो 1 हफ्ते में अगर कुछ नहीं होगा तो 2 हफ्ते में भी कुछ नहीं होगा. रिलैक्स. You're also joining Atleti if the way they're playing. Okay. Trent को Madrid में struggle करते देख मज़ा आ रहा है, says Naples FC. All right. Ayush bias Trent trauma. Do you think clubs like Madrid and City or even Chelsea or who are waiting to gel with their squad will get advantage early next season? भगवान ही जाने भाई. देखो यार, it's very obvious some teams are giving it a lot more effort than other teams. I just don't know how it will translate with just 3 weeks of break between Club World Cup and first Prem game. Prem is going to be a bloodbath, bhai. Prem is going to be a bloodbath. When is the first pre-season? After Liverpool wala game, Pratik. So we will be playing Man United, then Leeds, then Liverpool, then international break, then we're playing St. James. No, then we're playing City, I think. Whoever we're playing in the 4th. उसके बाद I think Champions League game होगा. And then उसके बाद Carabao Cup game होगा. Where are the people who were saying Barcola would leave, says Ayan. यहीं पे हैं यार हम लोग. We're all hoping that Barcola leaves. Is 115 removed? It will be. Next Prem season I am most excited for after COVID, says Pep भाई. First time आपने अपनी टीम को struggle करते हुए देखे, इसलिए आपको excitement है. But I understand it. You've got some new players, very exciting players. Of course, City will be bang on भाई. We play Atleti and Espanyol in pre-season along with 2 tours in Singapore. Yeah, Joshua, your team and our team is also playing. Achha, you're saying pre-season ki. Achha. So we are playing our first game on 21st July and I think that is against Spurs or is it against Newcastle? It's against one of those two. 21 July ko. Fabrizio का report आ गया. He is saying we will give him new contract. Shit यार. Zaire Emery बेच दो भाई. आई एम नॉट इवन जोकिंग आयान. ज़ेर एमरी बेच दो. वी नीड ज़ेर एमरी. Your opinion, Barca is greater than Arsenal. Please reply. My opinion, yes, Barca greater than Arsenal. Now आप हिला सकते हो. Barcola is just another Doku, says Nikhil. Shut up, man. Will Club World Cup play pre-season friendly? Up to them, man. We have seen clubs do post-season friendlies. तो pre-season क्या होता है? After the season ended, United were in for ASEAN All-Stars and stuff. भाई क्या कर सकते हैं? That's why Bayern and PL clubs want him. Barcola is equal Sterling. Shut up, guys. Any good book you read this year or last year? Yeah, there is a book over there. If you can see, you can't see. Wait, let me hide the chat for a sec. There's a book right there you can see on the table. It's called A Little History of the World. It's just a world history book told in a nice way. I have some other books which I will be reading. This book is called Neuromancer by William Gibson. It's a book which was the origination apparently of the word cyberspace. This was the first book which ever mentioned cyberspace in any sort of fiction. Then there is this book which I will read called Psycho-Cybernetics, which I haven't read. And is there anyone else? There is another book I got by a Japanese author, but that's just a light reading, bhai. I have a category, the Sterling category, says tarnished. Okay. अरे देखो कौन आ गया. अर्णव भाई my wild prediction for the Club World Cup has been that Chelsea will beat Bayern Munich. दक्ष भाई पॉइंट्स हटा दिए. नहीं, पॉइंट्स हैं, बस मैंने उसका रिप्लाई चैट में हटा दिया है क्योंकि लोग फिर पॉइंट्स करते हैं और चैट में बात नहीं करते हैं. Did someone say Chelsea beating Bayern? Hell nah, says FCB Kimmich. No, we asked for like crazy wild predictions for the CWC. So I said mine is that Chelsea will beat Bayern and the entire fan base will lose its head. Like they'll start overhyping some players like Paduki, or they'll do like some premature stuff like Palmer is back or we're okay. No, Jackson तो अब वो हो गया ना. Delap is the next Drogba. Caicedo best in the world sort of stuff. Daksh trying to jinx it? Nah. We're just giving crazy predictions, man. Daksh bhai, Fabrizio Yamal ka D-right ज़्यादा नहीं करता. Bhai, he's making money from Facebook. He's making money from Twitter. He's making money everywhere. This is called marketing yourself. For all the times you see him D-ride Lamine, there are Barca fans who are liking it, retweeting it, replying to it, and there are angry other fans who are like, तू कितना उसका ride कर रहा है? And so he makes money through engagement and visibility, and he gets all these sponsorships. He is an official communicator, broadcaster. I don't know what he is, but he's officially partnered with the Club World Cup. Ornsteins, Mockbell, he's gone beyond journalism. He is a social media entity now. Delap looked so out of place in the River Plate game. I didn't watch it, man. Sorry I was late, busy, sorry, irritating. नहीं, irritating क्या होता है यार? I will watch this live later, but कल करोगे live please. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. Tomorrow I will be there. We will be there. Because Thursday, Friday I have a busy day. Barcola, Doku type players fall in the Sterling category. Might have to add Vinny there soon. Rashford to Arsenal loan. Alright chat, if you were an Arsenal fan, will you take Rashford on loan? Last and then we move. अरे many Twitter account got money to promote 100k वालों को ऑफर आया था. But Fabrizio is next level भाई. उसका तो officially नाम डाला गया है. Horror tomorrow. बिल्कुल पुनीत भाई. Camera? What camera? The camera is nice. The quality is nice. Thank you so much. Son to Bayern Munich. New Bayern left winger. No, man. Request to do live after 10 p.m. It gets super crowded, dude. If I go live and then Moha goes live and then Baba goes live and Zishan or Muktesh go live or Chonki or Yash go live, I ain't getting the audiences, man. So this is the maximum time for me to also maximize my audiences and stuff like that. So इसी बहाने stream like कर दीजिए, subscribe भी कर दीजिए दोस्तों. आगे रेनेसू, इंजीनियर रेनेसू, आपने Discord fix करा या? Discord ठीक कर दीजिए साहब पहले हमारा. पता नहीं क्या हो गया आज रोल्स को, बट आई होप ठीक कर दिया गया. 4 AM को आओ, मस्त लोगों का मूड बना रहता है, says Arnav, taking the train from Patna to Ranchi in looking for new job. 4 बजे कौन आता है भाई? I take Kevin Shada, not Rodrigo or Son. You take Shada over Rodrigo and Son. Crazy भाई. समा वंडर किड्स को मॉड रोल्स मिल गए थे, वो तो फिक्स कर दे. अरे बच गए भाई, बच गए. समा नहीं, मेरी गलती होगी उसमें भी. Anyways, chat. Have you bought the new kit review? I have bought the new kit. I've shown it also. It's in laundry unfortunately right now, but yeah, it's a very good kit, bhai. Next stream pe I'll bring it on. Rashford loan move. I don't know, man. Rashford loan move is kind of I'm a bit iffy right now, bhai. That should be like a last option. But you know what? United है, United के साथ तो अगर तुम loan with obligation भी कर लोगे तो you can just pay some money and get out of it also. भाई इस पार्टी के साथ आर्सेनल का नेगोशिएशन क्यों नहीं हो रहा यार? सिंपल सी बात है, वो 32 साल का हो रहा है और हम उसको कह रहे हैं कि तू इतने सैलरी पे हम तेरे को रखेंगे, और वो चाहता है कि हम मुझसे थोड़ी ज़्यादा सैलरी दें, तो हमने बोल दिया मुझसे ज़्यादा सैलरी तो नहीं देने वाले. तो अब उसके ऊपर है कि उसको रहना है नहीं रहना है. इट्स नॉट इवन दैट बिग अ लॉस मेरे हिसाब से कि अगर वो चला भी जाता है. एक सेकेंड, स्ट्रीम एंड कर रहा हूँ. नॉनी के रूमर्स थे भाई, कोई नहीं खरीदने वाला 50 मिलियन में मडूकी को भाई. You think this Garnacho wearing jersey is overblown? 100% bhai. I just think everyone is so on the edge with their players at United ना. अभी कुछ भी कोई भी कर लेगा, इशू हो जाता है. अभी मैं कहता हूँ अगर अमाद ने ब्राइटन की जर्सी पहन ली, उसने कुछ पहना भी था, उस पर कोई गुस्सा नहीं होगा यार. Suggest you some good world history books. अभी मैंने बताया था इंडियन कॉप, लिटिल हिस्ट्री ऑफ द वर्ल्ड पढ़ो. बहुत मस्त बुक है, बहुत मस्त बुक है. गर्नाचो बीइंग अ प्रॉब्लम चाइल्ड है, निकालो भाई उसको, निकालो उसको, बेच दो. करंटली रीडिंग मेकिंग ऑफ द मॉडर्न मिडल ईस्ट बाय जेरेमी बर्न. गुड रीड, नाइस. देयर इज ऑल्सो, व्हाट वाज दिस बुक कॉल्ड यार? So there is this book which I would recommend to everyone. It's called Guns, Germs and Steel. ठीक है? Wait, let me show it to you guys. Jared Diamond की है. The book is called Guns, Germs and Steel, a short history of everybody for the last 13,000 years. It's a really cool book. These are the contents. Why is world history like an onion? Eden to Karamarka, rise and spread of food production. It's got some boring stuff as well. But yeah, Polynesia, hemispheres, there's a lot to talk about it. ठीक है, Eurasia, Americas, Australasia, East Asia, it's basically everything. I don't even think it's chronological. It's just thematical मेरे हिसाब से. So for example, farm production, agriculture से लेके thematically it can go on to how food production just spreads differently in different parts of the world. This is a very informative world history book. It's not geopolitical per se, it's just a history book. You can probably say it's anthropomorphic history book. आप सलीबा बेच दो, says पुनीत भाई. ठीक है भाई, हम बेच देते सलीबा. आप पेप बेच के दिखाओ पहले मुझे. नूनी मिडुएके नूनी मिडुएके. एक सेकंड दोस्तों. Ankunku to United is the terrible deal भाई. When do you think Arteta out starts being justified? भाई अभी यार, अभी इस very second भाई, निकालो बंदे को. I don't know man. It starts being justified for me when there's a complete displayable regression of our football, of our style of play, of the connection of the fans with the football club. I think last season was probably the first glimpse of it, but I think circumstances ऐसे थे, some fans can still excuse it. बट आई थिंक एंग्जाइटी अब इस लेवल पे चली गई आर्सेनल फैन बेस में. आई थिंक नेक्स्ट सीजन अगर सेम सीजन गया तो ही इज़ नॉट गोना सर्वाइव मैन. ओके, दक्ष भाई, बायन का लेफ्ट विंग टारगेट फेल फ्रॉम विर्ट्स टू बारकोला टू निको टू लेआ टू मार्टिनेली टू गिटन्स. ऑल ऑफ देम आर डिसेंट टारगेट्स मैन. हाटो आएगा टार्निश भाई, उम्मीद तो है यार. मैं तो चाहता हूँ आ जाए हाटो हमारे पास, मज़े आ जाएंगे. आफ्टर 150 million transfer of words, how much figures can you expect from him this season? पता नहीं भाई. Let's see how Slot platforms him भाई. Whether he's on the inside winger or he's a 10 or he's going to take over Soboslai. Let's see what Slot does. It's very difficult to expect numbers from him before he's even kicked a ball. Fermin, Arsenal work कर लेगा भाई. Really swear to God, says UGX. Okay. I just don't know where we'll put Fermin there. He's a late box crasher, yaar. That's what I feel. Who will replace Arteta if you want him out? I would hope Inzaghi जैसा कोई मैनेजर आ जाए, बट अभी कुछ भरोसा नहीं किसी का भी. Cesc could be a good one. Xavi could be a good one. अभी तो I really don't know, man. I think post Arteta, a lot of rebuilding and reimagining has to happen at Arsenal, man. I think Arteta has got us to a particular point. अगर वो छोड़ के चले जाते तो let's see. 3-4-2-1 formation Liverpool. फेरमिन हमारे नए सिस्टम में अच्छा खेल सकता है. कौन नहीं खेल सकता तुम्हारे नए सिस्टम में अच्छा? दक्ष भाई सच बता रहा हूँ, आई रियली लाइक द ओपिनियंस ऑफ ली गनर. आई थिंक ली गनर के ओपिनियन सुनने में बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं, बट प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाती है कि जब उसके ओपिनियन नहीं चलते, ही कैन जस्ट कम्प्लीटली डिसोन दैम. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वन ऑफ हिज मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट थिंग वॉज जुबिमेंडी क्यों आएगा आर्सेनल, ही इज़ गोना गो टू बारसा, आप देख लेना, एंड देन वी साइंड हिम एंड नाउ ही इज शिट. सो it's he is a lot of fan channels unfortunately now are hubs for rivals to tune in, and that's the thing. रेनिसू आ गया, ली गनर का नाम सुनते. कुक ब्रो, वी वनर इज द गोट. या ही इज द गोट. वेयर डू यू लिव? आई लिव इन आयरलैंड ब्रदर, इन डबलिन. पेड्रो नेसा, मेरे को तो नेटो अच्छा लगता था, बट ही वांटेड टू जॉइन चेल्सी, सो लेट हिम गो भाई. Arsenal should go all in for Rodrigo, not for mids like Barcola Gittins. Yeah, we should go for Rodrigo, and I think that's what we are doing. Anyways, also, thank you so much for joining in. He is too anti sometimes, it feels like. Are sabki apni personality. I don't think, I'm not one of those people who say Lee Gunner shouldn't exist or Lee Gunner ko deplatform kar do. No. His opinion have a space, which is why he's very, very popular. I've only seen him in the last, I'm not even joking, I've genuinely only seen him happy khulle dil se once in the last 1 year, is when we beat Real Madrid. That is when I actually felt I'm seeing genuine happiness in Liga. Uske alawa, I've never seen him happy for 2 consecutive days. So maybe he's genuinely frustrated because he's watched Arsenal for a lot longer than I have. So maybe he has a point of view in that context. But I don't know. I feel he's more of a hub for rival fans now. Than Arsenal fans. Like, I'm not saying Arsenal fans don't really watch him, but I think the split is probably going to be very, very different. But it is what it is, man. It's a content space. Everyone has their space in content space. I like his accent a lot. That's nice. Alright, dosto. Thank you so much for joining in. See you all soon. We've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours. So like the stream if you haven't. Subscribe if you're new. And I shall see you all soon. 355 likes. Okay. Amazing.